Rogers TV, Mississauga.
The Rogers OHL Championship Series. Owen Sound, Mississauga. Game 1.
There's your first of the series. The chance scores! They're starting to pour it on now. Mississauga has a 1-0 lead.
Game 2.
Shot to the front of the net, scores! Hit, scored! Mississauga St. Michael's Majors will enjoy a 2-0 lead.
3.
He's on a breakaway, scored! McRae with a steal. It's over!
Owen Sound with a gutsy, determined effort on the road.
4.
His shot, Anderson scores! Cameron Race, he scores! Series is even!
5.
Scores! Smith Pelly with the rebound, scores! Mississauga has a 3-2 series lead.
6.
It scores! There's a shot, scores! Anything can happen, fans.
Tonight, one of these two teams will finish their season champion.
Race to Halmo, scores!
On his own, Kitson scores!
We're going to the OHL final.
It's been a fun ride.
And the celebration begins. History in the making.
The Majors have sealed the deal. They are the Eastern Conference champions in the Ontario Hockey League.
5 decades since this happened, folks.
One game to decide the best team in the OHL. Game 7 between the Majors and Attack. Next on Rogers TV. 68 regular season games, 2 months of the playoffs. It's all down to one game between the Majors and Attack. Welcome inside a sold-out and loud Hershey Center. I am Ben Ennis. Game 7 of the Rogers OHL Championship Series coming your way next between the Mississauga St. Michael's Majors and Owen Sound Attack. The Majors jumping out to a 2-0 series lead in this series, taking the first 2 games by a combined score of 11-4. It looked like they might run away with the series. Not the case at all. The next 2 games, thrilling overtime wins for the Attack to tie the series to 2 games apiece. Then came the all-important Game 5 in this building here at the Hershey Center. The Majors taking advantage of 4 power play goals to win that game 7-3. But despite all the success with the man advantage, Dave Cameron not too pleased afterward. Have a look.
They've done a lot of BS the whole series. They're either diving or complaining. And you got a kid that's been diving the whole series, goes up and just takes the cheapest shot possible. And a comment. The kid had more penalty minutes tonight than shifts.
What do you have to do to tighten things up defensively?
Well, I hope the referees stay out of it. The referee and the score. And when games are on the line, there's calls being made that have no bearing on the play. And it's letting Old Sound hang around. As much as I make my living in this game, I've always been a fan of this game. And I think this is what junior hockey's about. It's your small towns. It's a building on Thursday night that's sold out. They're not sitting on their hands. They're in. It's a great atmosphere. And personally, I love it. And I want to thank them. They gave me $6 to pay towards my fine coming off the ice. They threw some money at me, so I want to thank the people of Owen Sound for that.
Dave Cameron fined $2,500 for that comment. The Attack come back in Game 6, win it, force this all-important winner-take-all Game 7. And the winner of this game is going to take home the Robertson Cup. Let's throw it down for the national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Well, unless your name is Mark Canton, this might be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Game 7 of an OHL championship. The referees this afternoon, Scott Ferguson and Dave Lewis. The linesmen, Ryan Lachine and Jesse Wilmot. Let's hope we don't mention their names too often this afternoon over the next couple of hours. Welcome inside the Hershey Center as Devontae Smith-Pelly gets ready to face it off, along with the rest of his majors teammates from Mississauga, Dan Dunleavy, along with Roger Lajoie.
And opportunity is the word for both teams. It is the journey, not the destination, but it ends tonight either way. Game 7.
Mark Canton with the first touch for the majors, behind the net looking for Shug to come out of the corner. First turnover, and Hershey with a shot. That one is deflected to the corner. Expect a quick pace off the get-go here with the energy in this building. The Hershey Center has not seen a crowd like this in a long time. And the majors certainly have not here at home as Casey Cizikas tips the puck across the line. And as Toronto Maple Leaf General Manager Brian Burke watches his prospect Blacker handle the puck. Brian up in the auxiliary press box here this afternoon to take this game in, along with over 5,000 others. As the majors back up into their own end, and Percy off a line change for the forwards. Holds possession of the back end. Tip for D'Souza. Riley Brace along with Rob Flicker drives the net, and Binnington makes the stop. Binnington making his second consecutive start in this series. Percy from the line in front. Second shot doesn't get through, and the loose puck on center ice. Ian Helis over the line. JP Anderson watches that one harmlessly off the glass behind him. Helis with a bit of a hip check on Fleming, and the puck behind the net now. D'Souza redirects it over to the far side, and Brace with some room to skate it out for the majors. Up to center ice. Tipped over the line. Now behind the red line. Riley Brace with D'Souza. D'Souza knocked down. No call. Chasing after it over in the far corner. Shevitz. Right by Riley Brace. Short side of the net, majors. With Mayer. Throws it out front. Nobody there. Here's DeRozio with a shot. D'Souza takes a whack of the rebound. And the attack get it out to center ice.
First good scoring chance for the majors, made possible by some pressures. We have an icing call. Great energy in the building and good energy on that shift by the majors. Jordan Binnington is the story of this series so far, is he not? That's his playoff numbers, but I'll tell you what, he has been terrific, coming in a stunning manner. Let's face it, who saw that one coming in Game 6? What a great job he did to keep Owen Sound alive, and they're counting on him tonight, Dan, to close it down.
Undefeated at home throughout the regular season. The 17-year-old came on, as Roger mentioned, in that last game to get his team to this point in time. And JP Anderson, well, this is the 20th playoff game of this postseason. And you see the numbers are outstanding at 2.07 goals against. And Roger, the second best save percentage behind Malcolm Subban at 921. Subban had that good run with Belleville, played only 3 games though in the postseason.
Yeah, just like a batting title, that doesn't really count. The 921 of Anderson is fantastic. They would not have been here without him, no question.
Gilbert just gets across the line, sidesteps a check. Now at center ice. The attack. Backhanded into the major zone where Kitson is there to meet it. The Russian World Junior can't get it over center ice, and the majors forced back into their own zone. This is one area of Owen Sound's game they've been very effective at, pinning the majors in their own end longer than certainly any other club. And there's a steal by Wilson. Boy, hasn't he been a standout in this series. Garrett Wilson, number 17. Kitson fake playing the body there on Andrew Fritz, and that freed up the puck, but at the line it's kept in. Herdnikov Can't get it deep. That's center ice. Well, they're skating the play. It was Cramaros and Anderson. Steers a shot harmlessly over into the corner. Majors now off the line, change to center ice. Both teams changing it up. And the captain, Casey Cizikas, carries it over the line left wing. Down to the corner. Gloves it down to himself. Out was Devontae Smith-Pelly and Justin Shug. Back on the point, he's got Fleming and Percy to work with behind the net. Smith-Pelly can't get to it. Give away though. Cizikas coming off the left wing boards behind the net. Shug in an open corner. Takes a look towards goal. Nobody there, so it's behind the goal. Smith-Pelly, Cizikas in front of the net. Here comes the pass. Takes a bounce. Went off of Hishin in front of the net. Now Smith-Pelly will leave it for Percy, who comes down to the corner. Smith-Pelly curled behind him to cover the point. Doesn't have to. Šemić will catch up to it. And on the far side, Cameron Brace takes a hit, but the puck finds center ice. Majors coming right back, though. Cizikas left wing. Missed the first chance to clear it around Blacker. Second chance he does, and Hishin keeps it moving. Great pace here to get Game 7 underway. In Mississauga between these two teams, Memorial Cup bound, but they want that Robertson Trophy badly. As Ontario Hockey League champions. Fleming. Rob Flick. Fleming staying home. It's the last man back. A good thing he did. The Majors turning the puck over as Corrente. Mississauga native look at Hishin. Dance in front. Hishin holds it. Still with it. Now sends it in front. Goes off the skate and just wide. Now from the corner back to the point. Shot to Colin in front of the net. 1-0 Owen Sound. Cameron Brace was there. And so was Mike Helmo.
And the Owen Sound fans celebrate here in the Hershey Center. The Majors just dominated down low. Look at Hishin dancing around. Majors pinned in deep, can't clear it. Off his skate, still can't get the puck. Again, Owen Sound with another shot. Hits something on the way past Anderson. 4:14 in, and the visitors have a 1-0 lead.
May have even gone off of the Majors defenseman. I believe that was Rob Flick, the forward, who was down low. Stanis has given credit so far for the goal. We'll wait for the official call from Tony Ambrosio of Rogers Sportsnet, the in-house announcer for the Majors here in Mississauga. The attack in their own zone. Heelis out to center ice for Mark Canton, the veteran of these OHL playoffs. Backs up DeMello far side. First timer to this kind of party, Dylan DeMello. Far side. Along the boards, DeMello comes down from the point, trying to help out Rob Flick on the play. Owen Sound player lost his helmet, has to go to the bench, but no harm for the attack as they managed to clear it down the ice. Still no official announcement on who's been credited with that goal. As the Majors in their own end now with Kitson on the ice along with Cramaros. Icing called against Mississauga. 14:52 to go in the first, and a 1-0 lead for the visitors against Dave Cameron's Mississauga Majors.
A lot of pressure on everybody in the building in a Game 7, but a lot of pressure on Dave Cameron in particular, of course. Head coach, general manager, architect of this franchise. Majors have won 68 games, regular season plus playoffs, but you know what? That's not enough. You need one more if you want to win the OHL championship. Got to be this afternoon, too.
Face-off won by the Majors. Here comes the announcement of the goal. Cramarosa on the left wing, knocked out. Helmo is given credit for the goal. Berdnikov behind the defense. He takes a pass to the blue line. Can't handle it, though, and Percy for the Majors. Not often the Mississauga falls behind this early at home. They certainly are used to coming back from deficits, but it's all Owen Sound here so far in the early going. As the Majors try to mount a counterattack, pardon the pun, that's been used many times against this Owen Sound club, and Kitson, the man to maybe engineering for Mississauga. Can't work his way around Wilson. Mayer picks up the loose puck and fires that one in the area of Binnington, and a rolling puck. He didn't really have to make too much of a save, and now a chance to move it out. Cutting gets shy of center, looking for Berdnikov. He's off on a change, and Brace applies the pressure for Owen Sound. Majors passed it. Shug now looking for Cizikas. Touch pass back to Shug. Blacker is there, and he clears out to center ice. Canton and DeMello, wild twos in the back end for Mississauga. It's tipped deep in Owen Sound territory. Cizikas and Shug in front of the net. Canton seeing that, takes the shot. Hits Cizikas, but took a straight bounce away from him, and Helmo now finds Brace. Meanwhile, Stanis coming towards the goal was open. Almost a 2-on-1 for Owen Sound. Devontae Smith-Pelly check, just kind of stood his ground as the Majors come back up the ice with Casey Cizikas. Stolen by Blacker. Stanish takes a look up ice. Brace over center on his backhand. Nice little touch feed inside. Hishin dances around Rob Flick. Met by Flooding, the Capitals draft pick. Majors teaming up defensively as they've done all season long to clear the puck. Out to center ice. Rob Flick putting some pressure on Šemić behind the goal. Down there with D'Souza. Riley Brace keeps it moving behind the goal. D'Souza has Rob Flick in front. There's the centering pass by everybody. Hershey holds it. Walks into the circle. Scores! Tie game! Hershey for Mississauga with 12:34 to go in the opening period. A wild start to Game 7.
And the Majors fans also respond. There's a lot of them here, even though Owen Sound has brought busloads and busloads, and they celebrate a 1-1 tie. Hershey pitching in here. Here's the key. Putting it up high on Binnington. They've got to shoot on this kid. They shot 41 times into his pads last game over the shoulder. That's how you do it. Creating traffic. Hershey drills it. 7:26. We're tied at 1. Folks, we got a special afternoon coming up here.
Referee keeping a watch on Fritz and Wise as they go back and forth with one another on the opening faceoff after the second goal of this game to tie it at 1. Mississauga out of their zone. Schoenmakers to center ice. Wise and Bureau out there as well, and Corey will give chase. Bureau from the corner. Gilbert beats him. Wilson is over. Gilbert on Bureau again. Puck comes to an open corner. Cannon jumps down from the left wing. Keeps possession behind the goal. Lost it. Cutting plays it up the boards. D'Orazio comes down to keep it in. Puck bounces. Jamie Wise for Peterborough Pete. Gets the puck on his forehand. Little backhand feed by Schoenmakers into the corner. Cycle, old-fashioned style by the Majors. And Jamie Wise into the glove of Binnington makes the stop. Wilson with some extra curriculars on Schoenmakers in front of the goal.
Yeah, but that's the right idea. Jordan Binnington has to be tested. He was extremely good in Game 6. Don't get me wrong. But then I did the play-by-play call for the HaysFM.ca, the internet station here in Mississauga for that game. And I don't recall saying more than once. In fact, maybe I didn't even say what a great save by Binnington. You got to make him work. Wise did there. It was a good glove save, but the Majors have to keep the pressure on and make his life more difficult. Dave Cameron made that same comment after Game 6 as well at the press conference. Let's see if the kid can hold up.
J.C. Blacker with a nice push up the ice. Hishin in the corner now, watched by Fleming. Hershey with the goal from D'Souza and Brace not being announced as Fleming keeps it in. Stanish from the corner, flips it high to center ice. It's a dangerous one as it's Cameron Brace stopping in the circle, waiting for help. Passed it behind him, thinking Hishin would go to the boards. Hishin now has the puck. Pass for Helmo. Into an open corner now. Percy for Mississauga. I wonder if this game will start to settle in a little bit. Maybe not with a pass like this. Here's Shug. 3 men, 4 men to beat there. Nice defensive coverage by the attack. Slow the counter down, but the Majors keep possession. DeMello with a shot. That one is tipped just wide. There's been a great pace here. We're almost through the first half already, the opening period. Here's Shug. Down low at Kitson. Bouncing puck. Binnington made the save. Kitson on the rebound. Back to the point. DeMello down to the corner. Shug. Shields the puck, top of the circle, still holding it, turns, and just fires one in the area. Binnington is going to throw it down to the Majors with another faceoff in Owen Sound's territory.
Boy, you can just feel the tension in this building, can't you? And that guy, Justin Shug, you think he's been through a couple of these wars? Only one other player has won 3 Memorial Cups. Well, mind you, there's only one guy that's won 3 Memorial Cups. Justin Shug hasn't done it yet. But Justin Shug has won back-to-back OHL titles, back-to-back cups.
Quick shot off the faceoff.
And his experience so vital in Game 7.
Shot deflected out front. And in the circle, the attack trying to clear. But Rob Flick, great job to keep it in. Now D'Souza turns towards goal. And it's a weak shot, but another faceoff win by Mississauga here. 10:08 to go, opening period of 1-1 game.
Well, Well, the Majors now with a lot more energy, and certainly Owen Sound dominating that first 5-6 minutes in deep, but the Majors' turn there to keep the pressure and the puck in Owen Sound territory. It's almost like a football game, Dan. It's field possession. It's ice possession. You can't get into too much trouble when you got the puck in the other team's end of the rink most of the game.
A face-off win by the attack, and they're able to clear the puck down the ice. Now we are halfway through this opening period as Durazio hammers it on the boards. Riley Bryce, nice touch for Rob Flick, and he's up the ice along with D'Souza. 2-on-2 now as 3 now get back for the attack. Wilson jumped back, Keating, and D'Souza bump. Bouncing puck to the blue line, and instead of taking a whack at it, Durazio just backed up, made sure he had proper position on the ice. As Roger mentioned, it's making sure the play stays in front of you here in this 7th game. These two teams will play in the Memorial Cup. Not long from now, but they will win this championship here tonight.
That puck into the mesh, 9:21 to go in the opening period. We are tied at 1-1. The Go Attack Go, the fans here from Owen Sound, there are thousands of them in the building. This game is a complete sellout. There was not a ticket left on the shelf when they dropped the puck. There were scalpers outside the building. A lot of it is the great fans of Mark Reed's and the Owen Sound Attack who have made the trip. Lots of Majors fans in here as well. But my goodness, the Owen Sound fans have stepped up and are making a ton of noise here. And doesn't feel like a road game for Mark Reed's as both teams take advantage of this timeout to do some talking at the bench.
Well, it's Mark Reed's doing all the talking. Dave Cameron just letting his team catch a breather here. Dave will do a share of talking at some point throughout the game as well. But Mark Reed seeing something he's not liking right now. The Majors, since they got that goal, Roger, starting to work the cycle coming out of the corner. They're keeping possession. You know, it sounds into the ice, and that's something that Mark was talking about. He's out of the hand yesterday. But how to handle that cycle coming out of the corner so they can get the puck going back up ice. One strength of Owen Sound, and you've seen it throughout the series, and Attack fans have seen it all year. Once they start going the other way on you, they're fast.
They're fast. They use the breakout speed. That's where it happens, Dan. That's an excellent point. You come out, you break through that, and how many 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s have they generated as a result?
Shimmick with a shot that goes wide of the mark. Puck takes a strange bounce in the corner. Jamel Smith will go back to the point with it. As the attack set up here. Parente. Back to the point by Jamel Smith. Shot held, and then that one goes. There's a referee going to claim it went off of. It'll stay in Mississauga territory, so Anderson got a piece of it. Or maybe it went off of Parente. Either way, the faceoff will be to the right of J.P. Anderson. J.B. Wise, the former Peterborough Pete.
And J.P. Anderson, the pressure on him, but listen, there's been pressure on him all season. He has played every second of every playoff game, has not left the net. Mostly for good. I was going to say in good times or bad. Mostly it's been good times. No second option in Mississauga right now in the mind of Dave Cameron.
Smith-Pelly and Shug on the breakout. Can't hold possession. Zizekas plays it back into Mississauga territory. The captain reaching back for it. One sound side of center, fires it in. Binnington. Touch along the far wall. Shot. Binnington makes the save. Rebound comes high. Top of the circle. Shug throws it into open ice. Percy decides to come down. Smith-Pelly turns inside. This is where he's dangerous, and he's cut off nicely. Jesse Blacker with a heads-up play there. These two teams didn't play a lot in the regular season, but they certainly know all about one another now, and will know each other even more when the Memorial Cup gets underway. Tickets still available for the MasterCard Memorial Cup. This game is sold out, but you can be part of the same vibe. Coming up very shortly in the same building as Casey Zizekas' shot is stopped by Binnington.
Wednesday, May 25th, the Attack in the Majors, no matter what, play here at the Hershey Center.
And we'll have that one on Sportsnet Radio Fan 590 as Riley Brace working behind the goal against Blacker. Stanish plays it over for Cameron Brace at the point. Brace, a stretch pass. Doesn't work. Intercepted by the Majors. Too many men on the ice. Linesman let that one go as the Attack had a couple going to the bench. Here's Canton. That might have been a slap pass with nobody home, and danger in the form of a counter-attack here, but Canton gets back, so it's now a 2-on-2. Passes behind Cameron Brace. Gillis throws it in front. They score! Jared Maidens in the right place at the right time, and the Attack take a 2-1 lead with 7:26 to go in the opening period of Game 7.
Well, that play was made possible by Canton's slap shot in the other zone. The Red One-timer by Maidens. Right place, right time. Yeah, it hit a major skate. Hit a major skate right to Maidens. Anderson had no chance. 12:34, 2-1 Owen Sound.
Well, you can see DeMello's reaction after the goal. He looked up. He knew that he got caught watching the puck, Roger, instead of looking for Maidens behind his shoulder. He doesn't need to care about the puck at that point. He needs to see who's behind him. And well played by Jared Maidens. He realized the hole was there. He saw DeMello at his head looking to the corner, and he jumped into that spot. And it's a 2-1 lead for the Owen Sound attack, with the faceoff coming back into Mississauga territory.
And biggest goal certainly for Maidens in this postseason. Hey, they're all big now, aren't they? But right place, right time. Go to the net. Good things happen. He's 5th of the playoffs.
Kitson from St. Mike's tips the puck to center ice. Comes back to him again. Also for the Rangers, defending is Fritz. Carries it over the line. Fritz now from the corner. Takes a look out front. He'll hold it. No pressure now. Fleming comes over. Forces the pass up top. Gilbert. It's not often this year that we've seen any team set up 5-on-5 and have this kind of sustained pressure against Mississauga. The attack, though, here in Game 7 have earned their way, and that shot goes wide of the mark as the Majors look for the game-tying goal here in a fast-paced first period of the 7th and deciding game for the OHL championship. That puck will go all the way down the ice. Penalty coming up on the play, and it'll go against the Owen Sound attack. J.P. Anderson doesn't know it yet. J.P. just standing in the goal, the crowd calling for him, and now J.P. hears the call. And the Majors with an extra skater on the ice as they'll have to be careful in their own end here as they play this puck. Touched up finally by McNarty. 6:08 to go here in period number 1. And a power play, the first of the hockey game, going to Mississauga.
13:52 will be the time. Majors power play is number 1 in the OHL. In the postseason, 30% efficiency. 30%. Jay Gilbert takes a high sticking call, and the Majors will be looking to try to draw even here.
McNarty to take the face-off against Zizekas. That was Hishin on that face-off. Canton lays it down to the corner. Far side. Majors, nice puck movement, and Devontae Smith-Pelly missed the mark and then went down as if he was in some kind of pain. Meanwhile, a 2-on-1 counter. Here's Wilson, holds it, nice feed, and the stick came out to deflect the puck off the end of the stick of Hishin, and the Majors come back with a 3-on-2. Here's a shot. Binnington with a save. He holds it. Rebound. Puck is loose, and he dives behind him to pick it up. End-to-end action here on the Mississauga power play. Stays 2-1 Owen Sound.
Boy, what a job by Anderson to see that play develop and just shove his stick out and then create that odd man rush for the Majors on the power play. Watch how Anderson darts it out here. 2-on-1. He sees Wilson threading the pass. Look at this. Out comes the stick. Out comes Shug. 2 attack, trapped in the zone, and the Majors get a chance at the other end as a result.
Face-off won by Mississauga. Here's Durazio. Far point. Fleming. Durazio, top of the house. He has Mayer to his left. That shot deflects in front, and the puck just rolled near Maxim Kitson. He couldn't get a shot away as the Majors with Rob Flick from the corner. McNarty's lost his stick. It's in the corner. Majors now with some extra room up top because of it. Start to work it down. Oh, scores! Jordan Mayer. That puck had eyes as it found the far side of the goal, and we're tied at 2. A power play marker for Mississauga.
Shoot up high on Binnington. Shoot. Make him work. Make him stretch. Don't put it into his pads. That's what the Majors did in Game 6. And they do it again on the power play to make it 2-2. Watch the cycle. Quick passes. Durazio to Mayer, up high again. Might have hit something, but found some white space. Let's watch. Did that hit something? Could have hit the Owen Sound defenseman's stick. Or Kitson in front. Either way, it's 2-2 for now. It's Mayer's. Doesn't matter who scores them now. We're back at 2.
Boy, if this first period is any indication as how the rest of the afternoon is going to go, fans are not going to have long to rest the vocal cords. 4 goals here already. Still 5 minutes to go as Corey Bureau is knocked by Helis. And Helis now on the right wing carries it over Mississauga line. Takes the shot. Stopped by J.P. Anderson. Anderson with another save from a tough angle as the attack come flying out of the gate after giving up that tying goal. A lot of shorthanded. Shevitz. Here who gets credit here is Tony Ambrosia makes the call. It is Jordan Mayer who gets credit. D'Souza at the Owen Sound line, trying to make his way around Helis. Now cutting from an open corner. Has trouble with the puck, rolling on him. Now it settles down as he gets to center ice. Hits the outside on flick and hammers it in. Anderson got a touch on it, not much though. Berdnikov now against the boards. He and Hershey doing battle. Berdnikov so strong, using that upper body strength to come out from the corner and put it back to the point. Puck takes a deflection. D'Souza trying to close down Gilbert before he gets the shot away. Got a piece of it. Puck centered in front. Here's Wilson with a shot on that one. Now Berdnikov in line to the mark. Wilson throws it in front again. The Majors running around here. The attack putting on some pressure.
Majors are getting dominated in their own end of the rink as they ice the puck here, Dan. Owen Sound's relentless forechecking pressure is just giving the Majors fits as D'Souza goes off and is a bit of a shiner. I don't know if we'll be able to pick it up or not, but boy, D'Souza took the sucker punch. There it is. You can see it underneath the mask area. Well, but boy, the Majors just can't clear the puck.
Speed. It's Owen Sound speed right now. They're getting to it. And they're closing in on the Majors before they have a chance to move the puck out of their own zone. And here comes McNarty quickly on Canton. Canton low gets the puck up to the blue line. It's tipped into Owen Sound territory. Shug gets after it. The attack with Blacker getting it outside the line. McNarty. Cross ice pass. Nice feed in front. That one's blocked. Nice centering pass. Little shot. Blacker as the pressure stays on by Owen Sound. McNarty centering pass. That one past Helmo. Thrown behind the goal. Fishing with a touch. D'Orazio low. Able to clear. Shug tips it out across the line. The Majors change it up. Owen Sound keep the same 5-on. Here's a turnover. Cizikas looking back as he gets possession of the puck. The Majors out there with Kitson. And Cramaros is parked in front of the goal. Maxim kicks it. Stanish on his hip. Kitson from the corner. Cycle it down low with Cramarosa. Cameron Brace gets it outside the line. And the Majors keep possession. Cramarosa just flips it in. Mayer gives chase. Stanish trying to rip it out the far side with Jared Maidens. Cameron Brace given a bump by Kitson, but it's Helis now who gains the Mississauga zone. Parente got his stick on the puck just to knock it away for a moment. Maidens off the far boards, curls inside. Shevitz from the top of the circle and with a crowd in front. You can tell what the MO of Owen Sound is. That puck didn't get through that time. Majors, Kitson. Pass goes off the skate. Helis, one man back, and it's Percy. Helis takes the shot, goes off the skate, comes back for the rebound and fires it wide of the mark. Boy, you can kind of see that play developing, couldn't you? Another turnover. Berdnikov comes down from the corner. Centers in front, wide open. Great chance in front of the goal. Chitterley couldn't get the shot away. Wilson, as the attack keep pouring it on here. 1:35 to go. Berdnikov throws it in front and just behind Matt Petgrave. And the speedster fires it back into Mississauga territory.
Owen Sound speed is the factor right now, Dan. They continue to keep the Majors pinned in their own zone because they're so darn quick getting to the puck.
Majors counter with D'Souza. D'Souza has Brace with him. Throws him in front and Brace just missed it. Rob Flick from the point. Behind the goal, Riley Brace. Being watched there by Wilson. Jay Gilbert, Port Stanley native, takes his man down. D'Souza gets right back up again. Referee on the puck, seeing the puck is loose. Now it's pinned against the boards. And a crowd of players in there as Stephen Cutting comes down, and the referee decides now might be the time to blow the whistle with 55.6 seconds to go in a 2-2 game here in period number 1.
Well, we expected a battle, and man, do we have one as the players battle in the corner. Answering back and forth. We can't be surprised from that perspective either as Riley Brace shrugs it off and goes back. Jordan Binnington under pressure in goal in the Owen Sound goal. But how both teams have bounced back in this series. Remember, Majors won the first 2 games relatively easily. Owen Sound then twice in overtime. Majors dominate game 5. The attack got out a win in game 6. Back and forth we've gone, and back and forth we've gone here with goals. Owen Sound, Majors, Owen Sound, Majors.
Majors won the draw. Great play, though, by McNarty, jumping on Canton right away, giving him no space and time on the puck. And that pass out, whistled down by the linesman, hit the linesman. We're going to have the face-off back in Mississauga's end of the ice. Fleming and Casey Cizikas a little bit miffed on that one, but going to line up and take the draw here. Big face-off with 44.8 seconds to go in this opening period. Cizikas and Hishin. Owen Sound. Shot on J.P. Anderson off of that draw by McNarty, who has the puck now from the near corner. 33 seconds to go. Period number 1. And this is, if you just joined us, pretty much been the way this first period's looked. Owen Sound with constant pressure in the majors with the odd counter. Well, we are at 2-2. Binnington watches to his right. McNarty with 17 seconds for Hishin. McNarty gets a return pass. Canton ahead of him. McNarty trying to feed it into the slot. Smith-Pelly takes his man instead of the puck. Back to the point. Shot deflects in front. 6 seconds to go. Cizikas for the Majors. We'll just flip it into the zone. And that'll do it. End of the first period with an extra shot there. And I don't think that'll result in much. Too much at stake in a tie game after the first 20 minutes.
Fantastic first period of play. You could not ask for better, could you, in a Game 7? Captain Casey Cizikas and the Majors will skate off, trying to figure out how to deal with Owen Sound's speed. The attack will skate off and figure, you know what, that's a good first period for us on the road, even though they've got a lot of fans in here. Nothing has been decided in this series, and nothing has been decided in this game. 2-2 after 1. Let's go down to the panel and hear the thoughts with Ben Ennis and the boys.
Thanks a lot, Raj. I am Ben Ennis, joined by Peter Curtis and Matt Scooby. Guys, what an unbelievable atmosphere it is in this building this afternoon for Game 7 between the Majors and Attack. Hard to even hear yourself think when the fans are going bananas, but I think for both teams, probably happy to get a couple of goals on the board, but the Majors, a couple of defensive lapses in that first period.
Well, when they started, it was one of these moves where they didn't get the puck out of their zone. They were scattered. The defensemen were panicking. Owen Sound made them pay very quickly, and right away you could tell the Mississauga bench a little disorganized, even on the line changes.
Yeah, and even I think coming back on their back check, they're completely lost coming back on defense because, you know, we saw Helis make a great pass in front for the second Owen Sound goal, but they just don't seem to be able to find the man. Like, they're right in between both Owen Sound forwards coming forward. They have to correct that on the back check as well going forward. So the Majors and Attack all tied up at 2s through 20 minutes of play. Joey Hishin downstairs with Alicia Warner.
Thanks, Ben. Joy, that's an interesting first 20 minutes for you guys. You grab a couple one-goal leads, and then they just keep storming back. Your thoughts, especially on your assist on the game's opening goal?
Yeah, I mean, I think we came out pretty strong and did what we wanted to do. We know how well they play in this rink since it's our 4th time here in the playoffs. So it's been an awesome series so far, and like you said there, they battle back no matter what the score is, so we got to keep working hard.
It's been quite a year for you. You drafted 17th overall to the Colorado Avalanche in the offseason. Then you go to World Junior Camp, and then you find yourself in the Memorial Cup. Did you ever think on top of all that you'd be playing a Game 7 in the OHL final?
No, I mean, I've dreamed of this for 4 years now, and never really had the opportunity to go far in the playoffs. So this is a lot of fun, and it's a great experience, and hopefully we can top it off here tonight.
Deadlocked at 2 here after 20 minutes. What do you need to do in the next 40 to keep the pedal down and come away with the cup?
Yeah, well, like I said, Mississauga, they're a relentless team and they work very hard. So we got to exceed their intensity level and work hard throughout the next 2 periods, and hopefully we'll be all right.
Joey Hishin of the Owen Sound Attack. We're tied with the Majors after 20 minutes here in Game 7 at the Hershey Center. Join us for Game Notes. After the break, you're watching the Rogers OHL Championship Series on Rogers TV.
Takes a look out front, backhand pass, knocks it down again, scores! Oh my goodness! Johnny on the spot, and he started it all, so why not finish it? Pass to the far post, and a one-timer! And the puck finds the back of the net.
You gotta pick your moments. When it comes time to be on the ice, that's the only thing on your mind. That's when you're on the ice in practice, you're trying to get better.
Welcome back inside a sold-out Hershey Center as the Mississauga St. Michael's Majors Owen Sound Attack all tied up at 2s through 20 minutes of play. Game 7 of the Rogers OHL Championship Series. I am Ben Ennis, joined by Peter Curtis and Matt Scooby, as we're going to break down the first period of play for you. And guys, the Mississauga St. Michael's Majors have been great throughout this series on the power play. Tons of power play goals. They get the only power play of the first period, and no surprise, they score on it.
Well, it also helped that one of the Owen Sound players didn't have a stick, so it was almost a 5-on-3. But we talked about it earlier in the game. Who would be repping? Would they swallow their whistles? We've had a pretty clean game, even though it's been the one power play. So I'm more interested to see who got that second power play, especially if Mississauga's winning at the time when it gets called.
It was a blatant penalty, I think, an easy high stick call. That was the only infraction of the period. So I think the refs have kind of put it away. They're going to let them play. And I agree that it was McNarty. It was Robbie McNarty that lost the stick on that play, and it really allowed the Majors to move the puck and give Durazio and Fleming credit, who got the assist on the goal, got it over to Percy, and Jordan Mayer scored the power play. Jordan Mayer, sorry, to Mayer on the left side as well. So, but even contributions from Stuart Percy as well. You know, second goal of the playoffs. No, not known for his offensive prowess, but, you know, getting contributions from everybody right now. Yeah, great time to come up with your first goal of the series as it tied it up at 1s at that point. Don't forget on that power play as well, just minutes before Jordan Mayer scored, the Owen Sound Attack had a shorthanded 2-on-1, and J.P. Anderson made a fantastic poke check, or it could have been a completely different tone to that first period. As it turns out, the Majors and Attack all tied up at 2s through 20 minutes of play. Matt, you wanted to talk about the turnovers in that first period. I think it's just a little bit right now. It's interesting for a Game 7, and I think it's nerves. You just have to blame it on nerves at this point. You can't forget too far forward that these kids are, 17, 18, 19 years old, regardless of how big the stage is, that they're going to be nervous, and it's going to be, they're not professionals yet. This is more experience. Reading the notes before the game, the Majors have a little bit more Game 7, even more a little bit playoff experience than the Attack do, but the Majors first, or the Attack's first goal was because of a Majors defensive turnover. And even through the neutral zone, a little bit of sloppy puck play, so both coaches, I think, will have a word for their rooms about kind of cleaning that up in the next 40 minutes.
And when you look, it is a young roster, but I almost felt we were at the Hershey Center in Owen Sound. We'll give the fans credit. They were here way before the warm-up started, and this was different for Mississauga. They're used to a quiet rink, getting their work done efficiently. They've got fans booing them in their own building. I know they're happy about fans, but not the ones that are booing them.
It's louder when the Attack score a goal than the Majors score a goal in here right now. Just a loud atmosphere in general for both these teams. Both fans out in full force. We know these two teams will be in the Memorial Cup. Let's talk about the other two participants in the Memorial Cup. Let's throw it upstairs to Brad and Will.
Thank you, Ben. Yeah, I just did the math. There are 124 hours, Will Farquharson, until they drop the puck to start the Memorial Cup on Friday night, May the 20th. We know the Mississauga St. Michael's Majors will play in that opening game. The question now is who they'll play, because they'll play the winner of the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. And St. John, the #1 team in all of Canada, the Sea Dogs, having a little more trouble than expected with Gatineau. They're playing Game 6 tonight.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's a good thing it's not 127 hours from now, or else we may all get stuck in a canyon and have to amputate. Anyways, to the queue. St. John, they could have won it all in Game 5 after winning Game 4 in double overtime, but Gatineau did come back in St. John to win Game 5 3-2. So that forces a Game 6 tonight that goes at 7 p.m. at the Bob. It's a very good atmosphere for Gatineau's home crowd, and if they can win that and force a Game 7, that would go tomorrow back in New Brunswick.
So that's the situation. The Sea Dogs sort of against the ropes a little bit. They are up 3-2 in the series still, but that's a lot of pressure for the #1 team in this country as far as the rankings go. Out west, the series is over between Portland and Kootenay, and the Ice have now won 15 of 16, took Portland out quite easily.
That's right. Well, Kootenay, they've really become the Cinderella story of these CHL playoffs. Of course, they swept Saskatoon in the second round, the second-ranked team in the country, the top team in the West, and they knocked out Portland, who was the top seed in the Western Conference of the Western League, in 5 games. So, really, they've been really an amazing story so far, and they're back in the Memorial Cup since they won it all in 2002.
The Red Hot Ice, which doesn't sound right, but it is correct to describe the
white
situation.
Hot Ice, maybe.
White Hot Ice will take on these Owen Sound Attack on Saturday, next Saturday, to start the Memorial Cup as well. That game is set in place. Any James Franco movie references again before I throw back? Nothing come to mind?
Pineapple Express has no relation to anything there.
We'll work on one for the second intermission. Back to you, Ben.
Thanks a lot, guys. Of course, the Memorial Cup getting started up May 20th, and we know these two teams will be there. And the Memorial Cup, it'll be rocking in this building once again as we talk again about Game 7 and the 2-2 score we have through 20 minutes of play. Guys, Mark Reeds, it just seems, has pulled all the right strings, pushed all the right buttons here through 6 games and a period of this series. He's used all 3 of his goaltenders. Every single goaltender has been a healthy scratch at least once during this series. The latest goaltender, Jordan Binnington, made 41 saves in the Game 6 win. He's looked pretty good.
Well, that Game 6 press conference when Mark Reeds must have said performance on demand 3 or 4 times, pretty well saying, hey, you need to be ready to go in. Now, usually that works with your 4th liners and moving into 3rd line. Maybe the 2nd line guys getting some 1st line time, but for a 3rd string goalie to start Game 6 and go out and do that, Mark's really pushing a lot of buttons, and some of it is luck as well. It's got to be for him to have that success.
He was their goalie. Don't forget, he was their goalie for most of this year and played 46 games for them over the regular season. And before tonight's game, he said that Jordan Binnington is the one goaltender that has something to play for. So that's kind of an interesting thing. He's only 17 years old. Not that he's discounting what Zador or Stasier has done, but, you know, Binnington is the future for this Owen Town team. And, you know, Mark Reeds has given him a shot, and he's played well. He's played well again tonight as well. We talk about nerves going into Game 7s. Everybody's got them. Butterflies, call them what you will. But we saw the Majors give up that first goal. Maybe another team might have collapsed. They just fought back, tied the score up, took a couple of leads, did the Owen Sound attack, but the Majors fighting back. I think both teams probably have those nerves out of their system now after 20 minutes.
I think Mississauga a bit settled down once they threw a couple body checks, Ben. You noticed it as well. It was scattered play. They got scored on. All of a sudden they went and they started throwing some checks, going a little bit further in the corner, making someone pay with a little body contact. They settled down once they started to get a few body checks.
And it was Smith Pelly leading the charge, but again, look for more physical play from both teams as we approach this next second period. Still nothing resolved in this Game 7. It's all tied up at 2s through 20 minutes between the Mississauga St. Michael's Majors and Owen Sound attack. Second period coming up next on Rogers TV. Mississauga Majors and Owen Sound attack 2-2. Nothing even close to being decided after that first 20 minutes of play. Dan Dunleavy and Roger Lajoie in a sold-out Hershey Center in Mississauga.
10-6 shots on goal favoring the visitors in that opening period of play. Favoring the Majors in that opening period of play. A little misleading, though. Owen Sound had a lot of pressure and a lot of offense in Majors territory despite that shot differential.
J.P. Anderson against Jordan Binnington. These two young men with a lot to shoulder here in the last couple of periods, and both players also know they are Memorial Cup bound, but they want that Robertson Trophy for their own. As Stanish from McNarty takes the feed, and Anderson with a blocker save. Stanish in the corner. Majors now seeing if they can't clamp it down a little bit. Play Mississauga hockey here in the second period. Casey Cizikas behind the net with Shug in front of the goal. Out there with Devontae Smith-Pelly. Fleming on the back end takes the pass from the far side. Puck is tipped by Halmo. Majors keep it in the zone. Fleming holds it, takes the shot, and a blocker save. Actually, maybe the pad of Binnington as he got down over at that far post. Shug looks down to the corner. Won't catch up to Matt Stanish. So the Burlington native with a feed through center ice past everybody. And even J.P. Anderson had to have a heads up on that one as it took a bit of a hop on him. Once it hit the paddle, it was down square. Now it's center ice. It's tipped. The Majors forced back into their own end.
You mentioned the two goaltenders, the pressure on them, Dan. What teams have to do is stretch the goaltenders out, make them move. I know it's easier said than done sometimes. It's not shots on goal. It's how much a goaltender has to get over and make a save.
Cameron Brace can't work his way down the right wing. And hit after the play a little bit by Shevich. Fans reacted to that on DeRazio. On D'Souza, rather, who's up front for Mississauga along with Rob Flick and Riley Brace. The medal up ahead, the center ice, tipped in over the Owen Sound line. And you can already get a bit of a sense here. We're only about a couple minutes into the second period, but already you can tell the difference defensively that these two teams have come out with here in the second period. Not so freewheeling to start this second frame as it was in the first. And even with those breakout passes, you see the positioning. Players back, able to cut it off, and Roger, we're starting to go back and forth here between the zones a lot quicker.
Well, that's the message both coaches have for their teams. You can bet it is freewheeling has to stop in the game 7. And the adrenaline, the juices, the early goal by Owen Sound might have opened up that game a little bit more, but this is more of the kind of tense playoff style play we expected.
Mayer with Cramarosa and Kitson. Mayer with one of the goals for Mississauga, spins in the corner. Kitson behind the net, gets a touch on it. Puck comes between his legs, uses that strength of his at the side of the goal. Shielding the puck back to Fleming at the point. Far side, DeRazio steers it on goal. Saved by Binnington. Loose puck, and Gilbert can't clear it outside the zone. Kicked ahead by Wilson. He's lost his stick. He'll go to the bench and get another one. And a stretch pass intended for Mayer, and diving to catch it. He missed it. Offside. It'll come all the way back into Mississauga territory.
Steal a page there from the way the Attack have done that as J.P. Anderson has a drink, and Jordan Binnington of the Attack heads back into his net. Boy, the pressure you talk on these two kids. You would assume the goaltending advantage would be to the Majors. Anderson's the veteran, but Binnington has just done such a fantastic job coming in here in the ultimate pressure situation with his team's season on the line in Game 6.
Well, and he did it all year, didn't he? Binnington for the Owen Sound Attack, stepping up to take the starter's role, and he did a fine job of it. Great record at home, as we alluded to earlier. If you just joined us, man just doesn't lose on home ice. 17-6-2-160. All indications are they've got a good one. He's the future of the Owen Sound Attack, but they need him now. Physical play starting to pick up here as these teams get playing in closer quarters here in the early going of the second period. Sweep. Standing still, and Casey Zizekas just walked up and took the puck away from him. Fleming cross ice as the Majors finish a change. Off the bench, Smith-Pelly tried to put the puck in front, bounces high into the air, glove down, and Sweep carries to center ice. Backhands it on J.P. Anderson, who puts it off the board. Zizekas at the center ice, and Smith-Pelly won't catch up to it. Zizekas staying with the pass, following up on Halmo, and offside. And Smith-Pelly didn't clear the zone in time.
And Halmo and Zizekas want to be careful here as they take a couple of little extra shots at the after the play ends. 4 minutes 2 seconds gone in this second period, and a very different feel to period 2, as you mentioned, Dan, than we had in period 1. Little freewheeling, little freelance going on the ice. None of that now. Both teams starting to tighten up, and as this game gets deeper, you can imagine it's only going to get that much more difficult to find room.
And discipline will be key as well, as two teams, as Roger mentioned, want to make sure they don't have special teams be the deciding factor. But odds are, the way the game is officiated these days, special teams will be the factor as Hishin carries it over the line. Holds it, lost it, gets it back again, turns and fires, and the puck bounces high into the air in the corner. Hishin after it himself. As McNarty out front, Hishin taking down McNarty now. Watch behind the goal, Anderson down to keep the low area in front of the goal covered up. Shevich along the boards. Looking to spin out his Halmo. He tries to jam it in. Anderson down to cover up a crowd of players. And referee makes the call, and this won't be fun for the last man getting up.
Well, ever since Game 4 of the series, of course, when the Majors had what appeared to be a goal, whistled off with the puck loose in the crease. The referees and linesmen very cognizant of making sure the play continues until that puck is secure. We talk about the pressure on the players. How about the pressures on the officials to get that call right? It's 2-2 here early in the second period. We're already, it's game 7 every moment. Doesn't matter what the score is. They've got to make sure, is that puck smothered? And they made the right call there.
Jesse Wilmot, the linesman, taking his position of the face-off of the major zone to the left of J.P. Anderson. And it'll be Helis. It's waved out of the face-off, and Cameron Brace, a Markham native, will slide in to take it. Against the major's captain, Zizekas won the draw. Smith-Pelly facing the boards, pressured by Maidens, who has one of the goals for Owen Sound, and plenty of Owen Sound attack fans in the building now making lots of noise as the majors. Mark Canton flips it on the wrong side of center, and that's an icing call. The veteran will hope he doesn't regret that play with 14:57 to go in the second.
No, that's for sure, and we talk about some of the basics of the game. Not giving teams extra icing calls and clearing the puck out of your own zone without too much drama. That's been the strength of Dave Cameron's team throughout the postseason, throughout the regular season. But boy, we're down to crunch time now, aren't we? There's Mark Canton, like the rest of his majors teammates. Game 89 playoffs and regular season combined.
Well, the majors roll their 4 lines all year, but it's line matching time as Dave Cameron with the last change, seeing the Hishon line out there is Rob Flick with Riley Brace and D'Souza. And Rob Flick comes up with a puck, takes the shot, bounces in front of the net, went for the rebound, couldn't get the shot away, and the attack looked to counter. Fired in by McNarty. Anderson trapped it on the wall. Ahead for Riley Brace. Can't tip it outside the line, but he gets some help on the play, and now it's center ice. Here's to Souza, and back behind the play. Penalty coming up to Rob Flick. I think he got baited into one by Petgrave. And the majors will be shorthanded for the first time here this afternoon, tied at 2.
Well, we talked about the importance of special teams, and Flick takes the penalty here. It's behind the play. Might have been it as we saw it. Owen Sound's power play, very effective, 5th in the league, 24.1% effectiveness. Majors penalty kill is now dropped to 5th after leading most of the postseason. So the attack have had some success on the power play. Majors scored on their chance. Owen Sound will try to score on theirs.
Stanish, the only man back right now, and now Blacker will slide back from the faceoff circle. Majors win the draw. And Canton will hammer it down the ice, force Biddington to make a glove save, and it wasn't a pretty one. Stanish pressured by Shug. Zizekas comes down low to help out. Chasing after Blacker. Zizekas comes up with a puck. He did this in the World Junior Hockey Championships. Casey Zizekas in a very memorable shift for Team Canada and Dave Cameron. He's at it again, and he'll go to the bench. A great job by the majors captain.
And he gets the same cheer he kind of got at the World Juniors as well. Great energy there.
Blacker fires it in. Anderson out to touch it. On his forehand. Plays it into the corner. Trapped there. Played behind the goal by Andrew Fritsch. Now back to the point. Blacker. Stanish. Blacker top of the house. Stanish near side. Takes a look. Far circle. There's a shot. Doesn't get through. Blocked by Wise, who puts it off the boards and down the ice with 1:03 to go. And the attack power play, 2-2 game.
Good aggressive penalty kill by the majors there. When they are aggressive on the penalty kill, it's when it works, just like there. Coming up and meeting the attack at center.
Wilson now, as D'Souza tried to glove it down to the neutral zone. Stanish, Halmo up there as well. Petgrave back of the point. He scored a big goal here in this series in this very building. There's a shot that just goes wide. Kept in the corner by Halmo. Wilson has it taken away, and it's tipped out to center ice. 30 seconds left in the power play for Owen Sound. Looking to regain a 1-goal lead. They've had it twice in this game so far. The majors have never led. They've only been able to come back and keep it level as it's cleared down the ice in a roller. Majors change it up. They get 2 skaters off with that change, and 10 seconds to go in this kill as it's brought up ice now by Helis. Fired in by the Georgetown native and behind the Mississauga goal. Comes near side. Petgrave. That went off the leg. Now look out Majors almost had an odd man rush, maybe a 3-on-1 if that puck wasn't blocked from getting over center ice. Halmo, great job coming off the wall, takes a backhand and that is wide. Puck bounces out in front, backhand shot by Halmo and somehow J.P. Anderson keeps it out. Halmo goes to the bench, too many men on the ice, it hit his skate. Linesman hasn't even made the call. Majors on the counter, here's Cizikas, cuts to the goal, can't get the shot away. How is that not too many men with a puck hitting the skate?
They missed that one. Pure and simple, they did not see the extra man on the ice.
Now coming the other way. This is Cameron Brace. Couldn't get the shot away. Then he's hit after the play, and the referees missed that one as well. Shug with the drop at the line. Cizikas back for Shug, and it drifts wide of the far post. Taken down, Smith-Pelly. No penalty. My goodness, this is just going wide open now. Officials letting it go as Kevin Cutting takes a shot, and that one stopped by J.P. Anderson. Gilbert plays it behind the goal. Ferrante for the Majors.
It's okay as long as it's wide open for everybody and the players know it.
I guarantee it won't stay that way. Some pretty obvious calls have been missed so far, and someone's going to get called on a cheapie, and then you'll see the argument from either bench. Berdnikov at center. Cramarosa reaching in. Couple of hacks again. They let him go. Anderson behind the net. Ferrante keeps it moving. 11 minutes remaining. Second period. 2-2 game as Šemić turns in his own end. Dave Cameron hollering. Pressure the puck. Petgrave now as two Majors get caught deep. Petgrave with his speed over the line holds the puck. Petgrave trying to throw it in front, that hit a leg. Stripped by Cramarosa. Tries to tip it forward. Cramarosa held again, no call. 2-on-1 though for the Majors. Mayer has one. Mayer takes the shot, stopped by Binnington. Should have been hit by Cramarosa. Boy, this thing is just, the lid is off this game, folks. 10:28 to go, 2-2 second period. And the referees have pretty much decided they're not going to call anything else.
Put the puck in the goalie's pads. Binnington's going to stop this shot pretty much every time. Not in the pads, but shot at him. Had the second man, and you're right about the hit and going back and forth. And referees have put the whistle away for both teams. You don't want the referees to decide it, so looks like they're going to let the players play. You're so right, though, Dan. Then the first penalty that's called, of course, whatever it is, brings a storm of protest. But wide open back and forth. Great stuff.
Tipped at center ice. D'Souza against Kevin Cutting, the Braceburge native for Owen Sound. Can't clear around Riley Brace, who keeps it in. Gilbert in the corner, pressured right away by D'Souza. Cutting has to kick it out of his skates to his stick. Rob Flick is there for the Majors as well. Wilson pass went off of his skate. Just shy of the Mississauga line. Then it's chipped in by Gilbert, who took an extra shot at Durazio, who came in with a hit. D'Souza off the glass, down the ice, and will not have enough for icing. Richmond Hills, Jordan Binnington looks behind the net. Riley Brace tripped up. Rob Flick back in his own end with Durazio. Majors trying to play the right wing. Wilson intercepts at center ice and fires it into Mississauga territory. Majors hollering for Flick to get off and finish up the line change. That gets the captain Casey Cizikas onto the ice as the Washington Capitals draft pick. Fleming behind his own goal, trying to work away from Berdnikov, and he does. Cizikas, the Islander pick, lets it go, and that's an icing call against Mississauga with 9:09 to go here in period 2, a 2-2 game 7.
Alicia Warner has a special guest. That's Brian Burke, the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Alicia.
Thank you very much. President and General Manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Brian Burke, with me. Draft prospect from the 2009 draft, Jesse Blacker on the Owen Sound attack. What have you thought of his play today?
Well, I've seen him in the playoffs already, and I think he's had a good playoff. He's played well tonight. He skates real well. He's got a hard shot. He's intense. He's smart. But it's a heck of a hockey game.
You saw the CHL top prospect game at the Air Canada Centre earlier this year. Is there anybody else out there today that's caught in your eye?
Well, the Percy kid that plays for St. Mike's is getting a lot of attention from a lot of teams. He's a good player, really smart. But I have a feeling he's not going to be there where we pick.
Thanks for this. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Thank you.
Brian Burke, President and General Manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Guys, back to you.
And thanks to Brian Burke for being with us. He is sitting in the new auxiliary box that has been constructed here for the Memorial Cup, and an interested observer, of course, of Jesse and the Owen Sound attack and some other players. Interesting comments about Percy, and I think most people would agree that Stuart Percy is not going to be around by the time the late first round comes, where the Leafs now have 2 picks stand.
That's right. He is, as Brian mentioned, well watched, and he has been through the entire season. Scouts have been here all year, as they are at every OHL rink. Majors with a counter now is Shug looking for Smith-Pelly in front. First pass doesn't work. Cizikas in his skates. Blacker with a steal, and the Leaf draft pick sends it forward. And in over the line, Blacker following up. Hishin reaching for it. And the puck bounces right on the stick of DeMello. Fights to get it outside the line. Halmo with a follow-up. Hishin, nice little move on Smith-Pelly. Hishin on his backhand. Forehand, can't get the shot away. Blocked in front by Canton. The veteran got the leg down to block that one.
That's a huge play by Canton, because 3 attack forwards were in deep, and he managed to get it out.
Boy, oh boy, Owen Sound flirting with disaster when it comes to line changes here. And too many men on the ice. The Majors gain center ice, and now inside the Owen Sound zone, Cizikas. Drop for Shug. That's a dangerous pass, top of the circle. Majors lucky they've got Fleming and Percy both back, and it's hammered right back in. Binnington for Petgrave, who takes a look up ice. Decides the short route for Stanish, tipped in by Wilson. Anderson had to be mindful of that one. Right on goal as it's tipped to the boards near side. Kitson has yet to leave his mark on this game. Will he do it in the second period as he gains the zone, looking for the loose puck? Has it now. Kitson from the corner against Petgrave. Kitson holds it. Looks back to the point. Pass back. Intercepted by Berdnikov. One-on-one. Percy, Berdnikov, and Percy won that battle.
Percy and Canton have been outstanding in this second period for the Majors as the attack not getting in the way they did in the opening 20 minutes.
Every one-on-one battle now is so huge on every shift. There's a shot that's wide of the mark. And you mentioned it too, Roger, as you and I were chatting during the intermission amongst ourselves about you've got to be careful. If you're going to take a hard shot and wire it wide against a Owen Sound attack, you could be outman going the other way in a hurry.
As we saw when Canton did that, leading to the second Owen Sound goal.
Jamie Wise out there trying to strip the puck away from Maidens, who very dangerously comes out the side of his net, but he makes it work. The attack trying to set up down low. Maidens in front. Bouncing puck turned in front of the goal. Anderson another save as Heelis threw it out in front of the goal, and now Corey Bureau the other way with Jamie Wise, and that's as far as the Majors get. Orazio from his own line to center ice. Bothered, but hammers it in and off the boards to Souza. Doesn't get there ahead of Gilbert, but Gilbert lost the puck. Down near side. Halmo waits on it. Backhander. Knocked down by Fleming. They're going to call that one a high stick.
6:22 to go in the second period, and as this second period ever settled down after a little bit of fireworks in period number 2, Stuart Percy gets some refreshment. Percy, Canton, Fleming, the Majors defense. One of the strengths of this team. How tight they are. And there on the scoreboard, they're greeting Hazel McCallion here in Mississauga. And that's the reason for the big crowd. Eugene Melnick, the owner of the Majors, there as well. And Jason Spezza enjoying the game from the Majors box. The reason for that big cheer.
Riley Brace against the boards.
But it's just a very different second period than period 1 was, Dan.
Well, you brought up a great point. Coaches told their players it has to be. Although for the fans, I think they'd love to have another period like the first.
I don't know if they could stand another period like the first.
Oh,
boy, was that exciting.
Why not? This might be a once-in-a-lifetime for many people in the building. Riley Brace, just shy of center. D'Souza has the puck go past him. D'Souza's had some big moments in this postseason. We're hoping he has another one here this afternoon as Hishin carries over the line offside at the Majors line.
Well, the Majors do not necessarily make a big deal about shots on goal. Most teams wouldn't, and why would you? It doesn't matter. But today's shots are just 14 to 12 for the Majors with 5:35 to go in the second period. And I just think when you've got a young goaltender like Jordan Binnington, who is playing for the attack in a Game 7, they are still not making his life difficult enough. The attack only have the 12 shots, but they've had several good scoring chances in addition to their 2 goals on Anderson. Shots on goal don't mean a lot in terms of territorial advantages, but you still have to make sure the goaltender is busy, especially when it's a youngster like Binnington who continues to answer the call for Owen Sound.
Bennington behind the goal, pressured a little bit there to move the puck. Now it's Berdnikov just shy of center. He shovels it ahead. And the shot steered off the glass. DeMello played it in the area of Berdnikov, and he's working down low line with Andrew Fritz. Berdnikov takes it. He's got Wilson out front. Cutting wants it back to the point. Berdnikov turns, using his strength as well to keep the puck in good position. Penalty coming up to DeMello as Wilson went down. And here's one of those calls. Yes, it was a trip. But boy, oh boy, after you let everything go for most of this period, at some point you knew somebody was going to take one.
Yeah, but that's a penalty. 15:05, no question about it. DeMello goes into the box, and Owen Sound goes on. It's a second power play of the game. There's just been 3 minor penalties called in the game. Second one here to the Majors, 1 to Owen Sound. In period number 1, Majors have a lone power play goal, and there is no question that's impediment as Hishin decides to go for the puck along the boards. Power play, Owen Sound.
Hershey in the corner, pressured right away. Hishin trying to dig it loose. Wilson behind the net. Out there along with Fritz. Back to the point for Blacker and Stanish. Blacker bouncing puck, gets it back again. Wilson takes a look. Hishin with Wilson, now changing spots. Blacker has Bureau right in front of him. Jamie Wise out there for Mississauga as well. Now it starts to open up with this movement, but the Majors close it down again. Blacker holding. Stanish can't find a hole. The Majors clear it. Bureau down the ice. Quick change by Mississauga. 2-3 new skaters. All 4. They get a wholesale change here.
And that's key on a power play to keep that energy level up.
Wilson can't get over the line. Stanish will carry. Met there by Canton, and Shug who backhands it down the ice. Minute gone in the power play. Richmond Hill native up ahead to McNarty. Back to the point, Petgrave. Shevich. Nice pass, McNarty. One-timer. Could make it work.
Canton is everywhere. He blocked that shot as Anderson was skating across the crease.
Here comes Casey Cizikas again, shorthanded. Gets the puck in Owen Sound territory. Majors get 3 fresh skaters out there with 30 seconds left to kill in this attack power play. And an icing call coming up against the attack. With 28 seconds to go in their power play, 3:23 to go in the second period, 2-2. This is Game 7 of the OHL Final.
They don't keep time of game played in the OHL. I would suggest to you if they did, Mark Canton's numbers would be off the charts. They brought him into this organization like you do anybody who's won a Memorial Cup. For this game, this experience, Canton has been terrific in this period.
Riley Brace with a quick backhander off the faceoff. Took an interesting route through the faceoff circle after the win. Garrett Wilson down the left wing with 14 seconds to go in the power play. Still after it behind the Majors' net. Get some help. Halmo, top of the circle. 5 seconds to go in the power play. Halmo behind the net. Stripped by Percy. Wilson centers. Nobody there. Majors on the way in, coming out of the box. Here's the pass. Just missed it. Cramarosa had him, and they missed by that much, as they say.
Yeah, Maxwell smart indeed, and boy, just under his stick. Got a piece of it though. There was no icing.
Here comes Petgrave. Petgrave shot stopped by Anderson. Steered to the corner. Attack changing up. Majors trying to take advantage. Here's Kitson. He's on his own. Maxim Kitson fires a shot high and wide.
Kitson had the right idea though. Make the goaltender stretch. Get it up high. At least Bennington had to move on that one.
Kitson comes over to watch Wilson as Petgrave and Mayer battle on the far side. Mayer comes up with it. Pass back to the point. Bouncing puck. DeRazio just keeps it in the zone. Wilson gets a skate on it. Following up low, Jamie Wise. Mayer down low. Kitson trying to jam it in front. Puck still loose behind Maxim. He can't find it. Petgrave did, and he clears it down the ice, and J.P. Anderson will have to get in front of this one. Under 2 minutes to go, second period. Both teams finishing up a change. There's a trip, not called. And Mississauga fans reacting to that. DeRazio puts it off the board. Smith-Pelly is behind him. Casey Cizikas on this right wing. Nice job by Stanish to keep him against the boards. Shug down there as well. Cizikas leaves it in the corner. Justin makes the turn. Shug looks out front, throws it there, and it missed Smith-Pelly. Canton trying to keep it in the zone and prevent a 2-on-1. Back the other way, coming the Owen Sound attack, and a penalty coming up. It's one against Owen Sound. Holding against Halmo. Holding the stick will be the call.
Smith-Pelly goes over there and kind of grins at Halmo because Smith-Pelly went down. He said, he's got my stick, he's got my stick. Now he's going to give it to Halmo as he goes to the box. This is what Dave Cameron was complaining about earlier in the series. The kind of clutching and grabbing. Smith-Pelly did his best to get back, stayed with him, and Halmo had his stick underneath him. Now let's watch. Watch the play. Smith-Pelly's trying to get back. Halmo's got it. Look, he's holding his stick. That's a penalty. Good call.
Face off to the right of Binnington with 1:11 to go. Here in the second period, tied at 2, and Smith-Pelly's on the bench. Kitson with Cramarosa and Mayer. Face off won by the Majors. Fleming back at the point, along with DeRazio to start on this power play. Fleming shows it down to the post. It's on the side of the net. Kitson gets it off the mesh. Maxson plays it into the corner. Mayer back to Kitson off the boards. Got to find a way to get Kitson in front of the net. There's a shot deflected just wide. Mayer came down to the post. Fleming keeps it moving. Now Mayer springs loose to the far circle. Kitson now is in front of the net. There's the shot. Kitson can't reach it, and it's cleared. Garrett Wilson with a chance in the backhand, and he clears it outside the line. Good job by Wilson, showing some hops to get to that puck. Fired in. Awkward bounce out of the corner. Gilbert's lost his stick. Majors with a real opportunity here. Stopped by Binnington. Loose puck in front. Binnington's got it. Referee's got to blow this down, and he does.
Great saves by Binnington there. The Majors did try to make him move, created traffic in front, Kitson all over the place, and Binnington stands tall. Couple of major big-time saves there, and then had the presence of mind to hold that puck with the traffic. Watch a shot come through. Binnington with a save. Then you got to ignore all that traffic in front. He's got that puck trapped, and it is not coming out. Binnington, the hero here on this penalty kill.
16 seconds left of the period. Majors power play with over a minute remaining. Canton with 10 seconds to go in the period. Lost the puck. Majors maybe one more shot. Percy comes down. That's deflected. Shug. Someone needs to get it on goal. Here it comes from the circle and fired wide at the buzzer. Majors will have 58 seconds remaining in the Halmo penalty to start that third period on the power play, tied at 2.
So it has come down to this. 68 regular season games, 4 rounds of the playoffs, Game 7 of the finals, and we need the third period to even determine who's going to have the lead, never mind win the game. 2-2 after 2, a classic this afternoon in Mississauga. Back to the panel we go, led by Ben Ennis.
Thank you very much, Roger Lajoie. I am Ben Ennis, joined by Michelle Storino, Peter Curtis. It's still 2-2 through 40 minutes of play of Game 7 of the Rogers OHL Championship Series. Ladies and gents, first of all, what an amazing game, what an amazing series, what an amazing year of OHL hockey it's been on Rogers TV, but a difference, obviously, in that second period after 4 goals combined in the first. What was the difference?
I think Mississauga having their defense and just a calming effect, you were mentioning, Peter. And a big guy behind that is Mark Canton. You saw him block shots on the PK, you saw him block shots on that 3-on-1 down low. Somehow he still decided to get his shin on that puck, and just he's a calming effect out there for the Mississauga St. Michael's Majors. Him and Stuart Percy has been playing fantastic as well.
Well, there's so many turning points in the season, but maybe for Mississauga it was in August when they got Canton, when Windsor said, we can't do 3 in a row. I know people in Windsor are watching now saying, why did we do any of these trades in the summer? But Canton has been one of those steadying influences, and DeMello has been struggling in this game and hasn't taken a regular shift, so we'll see if Canton gets maybe 25 minutes of game time.
All right, let's hear from the man, Mark Canton, downstairs with Alicia Warner.
Thanks, guys. Mark Canton with me. 2-2 after 2. After a real wide open first period, it seemed to really tighten up in the second. What are your thoughts on the first 40?
Yeah, I think both teams were a little loose in the first, some jitters and stuff like that. Like you said, in the second we tightened up a bit, and as his shots, we'll see. I think each team only got about 5 or 6 that period. So.
We've talked a lot about you and Justin Shugg's back-to-back Memorial Cups, but the fact is in 2008 you remember the Belleville Bulls that lost to Kitchener in Game 7 in the OHL final. What do you take from that experience to kind of turn it around for you here today?
Obviously that was a very tough game. You know, even now I still think back, and you know, we were 60 minutes short of winning an OHL championship, coming back from a 3-0 deficit. So, you know, I told you guys before the game that that's the worst feeling I think I've ever had, is losing that game. So, you know, hopefully it puts some fire underneath the guys and gets them motivated.
Now, on a road trip to Windsor earlier this season, it was one of the first times that I talked to you and Justin Shugg, and you guys kind of caught me off guard saying that even more so than a Memorial Cup, an OHL title means so much. You can maybe just touch on that a little more.
Yeah, of course, and I stick to that. I mean, Memorial Cup is a tournament style. You can win, you can have 4 good games and be a champion. You know, in playoffs, you got to have, you know, 16 good games and you know, tough games, overtime games, back-to-back games, road wins, you know. So it's tough, yeah, and, you know, hopefully we can do it here tonight.
Spread that wisdom in the room. Mark Canton of the Mississauga St. Michael's Majors, who's tied with the Owen Sound Attack after 40 minutes. We'll send it back upstairs to the panel.
Thank you very much, Alicia. There we see Mark Canton, and we were just talking about his strong play there in the second period. The Majors, as a whole, playing very well on the penalty kill in that period. Casey Cizikas, I remember a great penalty kill shift from him in that middle frame. The Majors have been good overall on the penalty kill during the playoffs. They have the one power play goal in this game, but the penalty kill really getting it done in that second period.
Oh, absolutely. You mentioned Casey Cizikas, and he's the captain for a reason. He was on Team Canada for a reason. I mean, that man doesn't give you any space, any time to breathe. And there's just so much pressure that he puts on the defensemen and on the forwards out there that they don't have an answer for him, really. And of course, you get guys like Jamie Wise doing the same as well, Joseph Cramarosa, Chris D'Souza. The second and third unit guys are doing quite well as well for the Mississauga St. Michael's Majors.
And when you think of Cizikas, you're almost saying there's people that are shut down people. Cizikas is a shut you out kind of person. He's able to make the work for them out there.
How about this cliche? The goaltender, usually your best penalty killer, and J.P. Anderson, a couple of big saves in that second period. We don't talk about the Majors goaltending much in this series because a lot of the focus has been on the rotating carousel of goaltenders for the Owen Sound Attack. But J.P. Anderson has been good overall in this series, good in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the hardest stops he had to make so far was at the end of that first power play by the Owen Sound Attack. Mike Halmo had a couple good backhanded opportunities, and he just shut the door, and he's come up big so far through 40 minutes of play when they needed him most.
And here's a goalie that people say, you know what, he's overrated. He's on an amazing team. I can tell you right now, he knows what he's going to do with the rebound. When the shot's coming on, he already knows what corner he wants to put it in. That helps his defensemen, especially when they need to get the puck out of the zone.
Well, we know the Mississauga St. Michael's Majors will be in the Memorial Cup in this building. 50 years ago, they won their 4th Memorial Cup. Here's Laura Barney with that story.
You're traveling to another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. Your next stop, the Major Zone.
The Double Blue had a lot to celebrate during the summer of 1947. They were back on top, but the feeling wouldn't last long. After all, what goes up must come down, and the team lost some of its best players and fell to the bottom of the rankings where they stayed for years. The Majors clawed their way back up the rankings throughout the 50s, but it wasn't enough to claim the ultimate title. Heading into the 1960-61 season, St. Mike's was struggling to find a head coach. Manager Father David Bauer was left no choice. He stepped in behind the bench on what he thought would be a temporary basis. Donning the M, twins Bruce and Dave Draper and Larry Keenan were the forefront of the squad. Terry O'Malley led his team as captain, with a 59-60 season's premier netminder Jerry Cheevers between the pipes. In a 48-game regular season, the Guelph Royals stood atop the standings, with the Majors 11 points back in second. On March 8th, the doors opened to the 1961 playoffs, but it wouldn't be easy as the Majors took on reigning Memorial Cup champions, the St. Catherine Teepees. Splitting the first two contests, Game 3 saw St. Mike's take a 4-3 lead. With only 10 seconds left to play, the referee refused to drop the puck as there was a 6 p.m. curfew for Sunday night games. Knowing it was unlikely his team would win the game, St. Catherine's coach ordered the team to stall as much as possible, taking longer to recover between injuries and tossing the puck over the boards. Father Bauer was furious with the results, as no delay of game penalty was called, and OHA rules stated that the game would have to be voided and replayed. The Majors found justice in the rescheduled Game 3 as they took the win 4-1 and Game 4 8-2, eventually winning the series in 6. The OHA semifinal against the Hamilton Red Wings proved to be difficult and dirty all the way through to Game 7. Bruce Draper was slammed into the boards earlier in the series, resulting in a serious concussion. The Majors were down 3 goals in the second period of the final game when Father Bauer made the decision to bring Draper back in. The forward skated out wearing a helmet and received a standing ovation from the crowd. With Draper back in and the support from the fans, St. Mike's earned a 5-3 victory. But the reward wasn't pretty. The final saw the Majors face off against the first place Guelph Royals. After the Majors lost the first 2 games, the series was pushed to the distance once again. No one expected St. Mike's to come out of this one, but the boys broke down the wall and stole the John Ross Robertson Trophy. In the best-of-5 Eastern Canadian final, the Majors thumped the Moncton Beavers in 3 straight, outscoring their opponents 28-6 to capture the George T. Richardson Memorial Trophy. A great honor to say the least, but there is still one more they wanted. For the first time, Edmonton was host to the Memorial Cup. The Double Blue owned the Oil Kings in Game 1 and Game 2, beating them 4-0 and 4-1. Game 3 went to the Majors 4-2, but then Edmonton stormed back, winning the next 2 games. Prior to Game 6, Father Bauer temporarily took the team away from the pressures of hockey and replaced it with boating, quoits, and baseball, and his tactics worked. In a 4-2 victory, the Majors hoisted their 4th Memorial Cup and claimed the record of most Memorial Cup wins for a franchise. But the team would not return to defend its championship. The school withdrew its Junior A team from the OHA competition, feeling that the sport interfered with students' education. 35 years without a team, without a championship. August 15th, 1996, the OHL's governors approved the franchise bid and the Toronto St. Michael's Majors were welcomed back into the league. On Friday, September 19th, 1997, the familiar Double Blue was brought out of retirement and made its way onto the ice. Years after their rebirth, and since finding a new home in Mississauga, the Majors still await the ultimate junior championship.
There you go, the Mississauga St. Michael's Majors trying to win the first Memorial Cup in 50 years. Joined now by Laura Barney, who put that story together. And Laura, it must be so amazing to go back in the annals of time and go back, look at the storied history of the Majors in Toronto, now in Mississauga. So many stories must come out of that.
It does, and you learn to appreciate it a lot more. I mean, needless to say, there are so many stories, there's so much history sitting right here in front of us, Ben. So many people have touched it. It's such a wonderful thing, and with those years without any hockey, I think it means even more now. And we talk about not winning it since '61. Well, actually, no Mississauga Majors have ever won it, so it's been a while. So we look forward to that.
Yeah, the Mississauga St. Michael's Majors trying to write history this year. They know they will be in the Memorial Cup, but not on their minds at all here as they play Game 7 against the Owen Sound Attack. And what a third period we've got coming up as well. But first, let's go back upstairs to Brad and Will.
Thank you, Ben. We're doing the math as we continue to update it. 123 hours and 27 minutes.
That's
until
right.
the Memorial Cup gets underway.
To the second.
Here at the Hershey Center in Mississauga. And, of course, we're watching for one more team from Quebec to join the fray. We know that Kootenay, Owen Sound, and Mississauga are in the Mem Cup. And now we're waiting on either Gatineau or, of course, the #1 seed in all of Canada, the St. John Sea Dogs. Let's look at that series, Will Farquharson. Game 6 tonight in Gatineau. Can the Olympics pull this thing off? They're down 3-2 in the series.
Well, we see St. John. They're the favorites. They have 2 of the top 5 North American skaters ranked in this upcoming NHL draft. They've got Jonathan Huberdeau with 28 points in these playoffs. He's a center. He's done really well. And the 5th-ranked skater is a defenseman, Nathan Bolia. He models his game after a Drew Doughty type. So those are 2 very good players to look for if they make it. But Gatineau, of course, they're not out of it yet. They've been led by Jean-Gabriel Pajot, who's had 28 points, just like Huberdeau, and he scored the big game winner in Game 5. So either way, we've seen some good players on both teams. It's just a matter of who's going to make it here to Mississauga for next week.
My French family would be very impressed by those pronunciations.
Merci beaucoup. I did take French immersion for years.
A very good job there. Game 7 of that series, if Gatineau can win tonight, will go in New Brunswick tomorrow night. So they get right back at it within 24 hours. Meanwhile, we do want to talk about the Kootenay Ice because they are hot. They've won 15 of 16. They took care of Portland fairly easily. No more American teams in this tournament this year. So now Kootenay, what are we looking at with that team? Do they have a chance to come into the Mem Cup and continue to shock and maybe pull this thing off and win the national championship?
Well, they sure could. They've been the Cinderella story, and one interesting story for their season is in January when they pulled off a big move with Swift Current. They traded 5 players and 3 draft picks to acquire Cody Eakin, who was just coming off a good performance with Canada at the World Junior Tournament, and he has really done a lot in his time in Kootenay. He's got 44 points in 26 regular season games, and in the playoffs he's been great with 27 points in 19 games. That's a lot of numbers, but the point is he's been really good for Kootenay, and he'll be here in Mississauga, and so we can see him play.
He will be next Saturday, 7 o'clock against Owenstown is when the Kootenay Ice begin their journey in the Memorial Cup. So we'll keep an eye on that. Of course, Mississauga hosting the Mem Cup. We'll see if they can do a better job than James Franco did at the Oscars. And now we've met our quota with yet another James Franco reference. And we send it back to you, Ben.
Thanks a lot, guys. As the Mississauga St. Michael's Majors and Owenstown attack all tied up at 2 as we get set for our 3rd period. Bring back in Michelle Storino and Matt Scooby. I am Ben Ennis, and Jordan Binnington, we talked about Mark Reed's pushing all the right buttons during this series, playing goaltender roulette, 3rd goaltender he's used in this series. Everybody's been a healthy scratch for at least 1 game. 41 saves for Binnington in Game 6, and he's looked strong again here in Game 7.
Well, absolutely. So far, he's made 13 saves on 15 shots. And I mean, not bad for a 17-year-old who made his first start in Game 6 after not having a start since March 31st. That was his last start in net versus the London Knights. That was Game 4, and that was also a 5-2 loss. He faced 38 shots. He stopped 33 of them. And I mean, not bad for someone who, well, you know what, got his first start in over a month, just about a month and a half.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit in the first intermission, too. 17 years old. Heck of a situation to get tossed in for a kid like that. But he made, I think, timely saves at this point, too, is what we look at. It was a 2-on-1 midway through that 3rd period where Binnington was in all alone. His defenseman kind of hung him out to dry just a little bit, but he made a big save. So it's saves like that right now. Yes, he's only made, he's made 15 saves at this point in the hockey game. He's not close to the 41 that he made in Game 6, but it's been the timely saves right now for Binnington that's really kept Owenstown in it and has really proven that he is a goaltender of the future for this attack team. Well, we make a big deal about Casey Zizekas' World Junior experience in Buffalo for Team Canada. There's another guy on this Mississauga St. Michael's Majors team that was in that gold medal game. That's Maxim Kitson. He's looked very strong through 40 minutes of this hockey game. Looked like he's just on the verge of scoring. Looked very good on the power play. He's been a good player.
Absolutely. If I'm Dave Cameron, I keep this kid on the ice as much as I can because, like you said, he has that big game experience. And I mean, he just looks so calm with the puck. Near the end of the period, you saw he just made an extra little move, nice little drag play, because he feels he has that confidence, he has that calmness, that time, that space that he can create. Then he tried a nice little jam play on Binnington. He made a good stop there. But I mean, Kitson's been very, very good so far through 40 minutes of play. And I say, you know what? You keep pushing with your horses in the final 20 minutes.
It's just about experience too, I think, at this point. We talked about it, the Majors have it in Canton and Shug. Don't forget that last year, they went with Windsor. They went to Game 7 against London in the Western Conference Final. So I think that's what this last 20 minutes is really going to come down to. Experience, grind it out, don't force anything. And really, it's a team, maybe a costly mistake will be made, a costly turnover, regardless of what it is. It's only going to take one bounce or one mistake like that, and it could cost the team, eventually the OHL championship. Well, what might be costing the Owenstown attack right now, specialty teams, in a 2-2 score? Majors have the only power play goal of the hockey game, and a huge 58 seconds to start this 3rd period. Majors going to be on the power play.
Absolutely. Well, you've seen all series long how potent this offense is when they have the man advantage. So, I mean, getting an early goal here would be key. And of course, Dave Cameron and his team
killing and their power play. Their power play, I know you guys kind of talked about the Majors penalty killing, but that Owen Sound power play got one shot on both power plays combined in that second period. They have to do better than that, and they can't let it go. As you just found, they're really loud. It's absolutely bonkers here right now. It's going to be crazy. I have no idea what you said. I just saw your lips moving, so I assume you were talking. But they're getting absolutely insane in here, and why not? 20 minutes to decide an OHL champion. Third period of Game 7 coming up next.
Attack. Majors. The first 40 minutes of the Rogers OHL Championship Series fades away.
Done a breakaway, scores!
The gutsy, determined effort on the road.
A chance, scores! They're starting to pour it on now.
Welcome, period 3. 20 minutes to victory. 20 minutes to bragging rights. 20 minutes to league champions. 20 minutes is all that remains.
Devontae Smith-Pelly has had one heck of a playoff season this year for the St. Mike's Majors. 19 games played until this afternoon, 15 goals, 6 assists, and 21 points for the Anaheim draft pick. And then Roger the veteran, who will be counted on here in the third period.
Justin Shug just about as good. Isn't that the story of the Majors, though? Smith-Pelly 21, Kitson 19, Shug 19, Cizikas 19, Mayer 17. It's all about the team. It's all about the collective. There aren't the heroes on this Majors team. But how about this hero, Jordan Binnington? His rookie season in the OHL. Goaltender of the future for Owen Sound. Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at the goaltender of the present for the Owen Sound attack. He comes in Game 6. He wins a pressure-filled game in Owen Sound, and he has kept his team in here after 2 periods of play. 68 regular season games, 4 playoff series, 2 periods of a final. It comes down to this.
You know, that look of Jordan Binnington reminds me of a young guy who played goal here for a few years, Chris Carosi. Tall, lanky, got that young, fresh look to him, and he steps up and takes control for his team. Carosi did it for the Majors. Binnington, though, has got his team in the OHL Game 7 for the Robertson Trophy.
Power play here for the Majors, still got to be urgent here.
Trying to put the pressure on early as the puck is deflected away from Shug. Just 30 seconds remaining in the power play. And we've seen shorthanded goals in this series. The Owen Sound attack have orchestrated that kind of counter against the Majors as Mississauga starts the breakout. Here's Shug with a shot. Is blocked. Following up is Smith-Pelly. And that shot blocked as well. 12 seconds left in the man advantage as Stanish fires it deep.
Wilson paying the price there. That went off the ankle, and the attack paid the price, and they get the penalty kill.
Penalty is over. Almo waited for a little bit to come out of the box. He waited maybe to surprise Rob Flick somewhat.
It's all about paying the price at this time of year, and the attack block a couple of shots and do just that here on the first shift. 3 power play in the books make the Majors 1 for 2. Owen Sound 0 for 2. The referees have let the teams play just 8 minutes in penalties, 4 aside, and we're early in the third period of Game 7. They've done a good job.
Face off to the left of J.P. Anderson. Helis against Rob Flick. Linesman away from the play, sorting things out of the edge of the face-off circle. Now a face-off win. Semich with a shot, hits a skate. Helis puts it off the side of the net. Majors try that quick 1-2 out of the zone, but the pass out is blocked, and Semich now at his own blue line. Helis has got a lane, takes the shot. Anderson saw it all the way. Steered to the corner. D'Orazio, D'Souza looking down at his skates to find the puck. Maiden's putting the pressure on, and it's just lifted down the ice. And this will be an icing call against the Majors. Another face-off coming up for the attack.
Well, all the cliches come out here. Who wants it more? Every shift you got to battle. Overtime looms when you're tied in Game 3 of a Game 7. But basically, this is overtime now. Nobody wants to make a mistake. It's Chris D'Souza and the Shiner. Look at that Shiner. paying the price here.
Hershey and Cizikas off the face-off, and Fleming has the puck from the corner. Looking for Devontae Smith-Pelly far side. Puck bounces for Shug. Shug cuts in. Cizikas can't get the shot away. He does, and then Binnington the save, and a penalty coming up, I believe, to Owen Sound. Slashing is the call, and the Majors are going back on the power play.
Boy, they missed a great chance there, though. That was basically a 2-on-none. Do get the penalty call, but what a glorious opportunity. Watch this. Shug brings it in. It's 2-on-none. Cizikas in and just can't control the puck. Shug knocked down from behind in the referee's mind. Hard to pick up on that angle. But a 1:38 power play opportunity for the Majors early in the third period.
Hershey and Canton back at the point, and Smith-Pelly stripped of the puck, and Wilson now will fire it down the ice. Anderson's got to be careful of that wobbler on the fresh sheet of ice here to start this third period. The Majors started the period with 50 seconds worth of a man advantage. That's a terrible decision at center ice. This time of year, Wilson with the steal, and just eat some time now behind the goal. Majors trying to free it up, have three players, and what a job by Wilson.
Reminds you of Cizikas earlier in the game and at the World Juniors with that great aggressive penalty kill. The Owen Sound fans support their team's aggressive penalty kill. Just 1:17 to go in the power play.
Yeah, well, Wilson was given a gift there. He took advantage of it. Plain and simple. Majors shoot in. Not much quality there, and it's tipped all the way down the ice. Mississauga not looking so sharp so far on this power play, but they've got a minute to make something good of it. Tied at 2, game 7. Here's a pass for Kitson over the line. Kitson holds it, takes the shot. Binnington off his mask, and he's dropped the mask to let the referee know there might be an issue with it. As soon as he made the stop, Binnington tried to shake the mask off to get the referee to stop play. Now, if there's not an issue with the mask, and that's what the referee's talking about now, careful about that. Well, there you see
there's an issue with the mask. The glass is off. No matter how important the game, what time, player safety first. Binnington does the right thing. Kitson firing up high. There's the mask. You see the shake of the head. Firing up high. Make a move. Find some room. And there, Binnington lets the referee know by letting that mask off. He's entitled to do that. Quick an issue with a goaltender. No issue there.
Flick with a face-off win off the glass to the side boards. 45 seconds left in the power play. Open point, and they can't keep it in. Durazio has to go all the way back into his own zone. And what a dangerous penalty kill. Wilson, Hershey, Stanish, and Blacker. That's a power play for many teams in this league.
Best players are going to kill penalties at this time of year, too, though.
Look out, another dangerous pass at the blue line, and the Majors flirting with disaster. And then a hit off play on Wilson. Referee didn't make the call. Majors, Fleming with a shot. Rebound in front. Kitson can't get there. Binnington holds the fort for now with 10 seconds to go on the power play. Durazio, a little backhander off the side of the net. Stanish trying to clear with a hard around, and he does.
And the attack kill with penalty. Out of the box comes Gilbert. Owen Sound. Huge momentum boost there.
Durazio spins away from Hillis. And again, that pressure put on by Owen Sound. No tape-to-tape for the Majors here to start this third period. Durazio has to watch as Cameron Brace comes down. On the center ice is Shug. Devontae Smith-Pelly around Petgrave. Behind the net, Shug has Percy up top. From the point, Percy. Shot takes a deflection. Backhand couldn't get through from Smith-Pelly. Cizikas at the side of the goal. Instead, it's back to the point. Cizikas for Smith-Pelly. Missed the pass. 2-on-2 the other way. Brace finds a lane and takes the shot, but that deflects harmlessly wide. From the corner, that puck took a deflection. The faceoff will stay in Mississauga territory. 15:32 to go. Third period, 2-2 game.
Owen Sound starting to win those one-on-one battles again as Dave Cameron has the arms folded and ponders behind the bench. He is fond of saying, and has said many times this time of year, you are hostage to your players, i.e. there's not really much else you can do as a coach. If you're going to be hostage to a player, though, Dave Cameron will be hostage to that guy. The captain, Casey Cizikas, getting the feeling more and more there may only be one more goal in this hockey game this afternoon.
Rob Flick through the legs of Gilbert. Gives chase. Garrett Wilson. There's a backhand by D'Souza, stopped by Binnington. Just about to say Garrett Wilson is doing it at both ends of the ice. He's been doing it since this game started for Owen Sound.
And so has Binnington, and once again there, Johnny on the spot on the backhand attempt by D'Souza. Good work by Flick to get in there and battle against Gilbert. Dig that puck out. D'Souza quick backhand, but Binnington perfectly positioned, hugging against the side of that post, and no room for that puck to go.
Face-off won by Hishin. Blacker giving chase against Riley Brace. Halmo flips it ahead. It's McNarty now in the Mississauga zone. Snaps a shot high off the glass. Marquette under pressure. And here comes that quick puck pressure, this time supplied by Halmo. Halmo brings it free. Canton pins into the wall. Hishin with McNarty in the corner. Shot deflects wide. Anderson didn't have to make a save. And it's chipped outside the line, and that's basically all the Majors are doing for the most part now. It's just getting it outside the zone. They haven't had any setup in Owen Sound territory. Trick behind the play. The Majors will be shorthanded as Petgrave was brought down. It's a high sticking call, as it turns out. 14:33 to go, and if there's only one more goal in this game, look out on this power play for Owen Sound. D'Souza to the box.
5:27, time of the penalty to Chris D'Souza, and the special teams. We talk about them all the time. Owen Sound will get its third opportunity. Majors have had two. We look at Petgrave freewheeling and that, no doubt about it. Stick came up under the throat. Referee behind the play making the call.
That was a dangerous stick coming up there, wasn't it?
Sure was.
Stanish. J.P. Anderson with a save. First shot comes 8 seconds into the power play. Blacker. Halmo top of the circle. Shot off the end glass. McNarty. And Stanish can't keep it in. Majors will change it up. All four. So 4 new skaters come out. Look out. Binnington with a soft pass for Blacker behind the goal, but Cramarosa come out the other way. Blacker with a pass on the left wing. Halmo gains his own but lost the puck. Corrente tied up for a little bit. Still got enough of the puck, and Cramarosa clears it down the ice.
1:20 to go in the power play, and the Majors aggressive again, and Jamie Wise making Binnington take the puck behind his own goal. That's when the Majors are good, meeting Owen Sound early.
Casey Cizikas now trying to beat Petgrave, who weaves his way in over the line. Petgrave still with it. Little feed down low, and Anderson stayed at the post. No shot there. Blacker throws it across ice. Petgrave pressured by Cizikas. Lost the puck. Cramarosa can't clear. Kept in by the attack. Broken stick. Petgrave looking around for a penalty call. Instead now decides he should go to the bench and get another cue. Majors tip it outside the line, and they'll change it up. 42 seconds left in the power play for Owen Sound.
Good work by Cramarosa to be right place, right time, and make sure he was able to get that puck out.
We will crown an OHL champion here this afternoon. One of these two teams will have played all season long, and they'll hoist that trophy they've had their eye on all year, and then get ready for the Memorial Cup. This is Hishin trying to drag it through. Riley Brace, who stayed with it and clears it outside the line. Hit the linesman and just got to center ice. So they're going to have the face-off come down into Owen Sound territory.
There may be some people watching at home today, Dan, on our broadcast who couldn't get in the building today. So we want to tell you one more time, if you want tickets for the Memorial Cup, no, the event is not sold out, but the tickets are in great demand. Most of the tickets are gone and accounted for. Don't show up Friday night thinking you can just buy a ticket at the box office and then complain to everybody that you didn't know there were any tickets available. Ticketmaster.ca, tickets are available, limited tickets are available.
D'Orazio with a shot off the goalpost.
Binnington got a piece, and then it hit the post.
Well, there was room. There was room. Kitson looking to steal behind. The Owen Sound net is now it's Cameron Brace with Maidens trying to get to the goal, but he's tied up by Fleming. Rob Flick trying to backhand it up the wall. Brace with the intercept for Maidens. Cycle for Helis down low. D'Orazio there for the Majors. Plays it up the near side. Brace with the tip back to Gilbert to the point. His shot, and Anderson saw that one through traffic. And if he didn't, he was in the right place. Even Cutting on the far side ahead of Kitson. Kitson follows through with the check. Cutting took one for the team there, keeping it low. And Brace. Penalty coming up on the play. Majors player without a stick. It's going to be a penalty against Mississauga. As Fleming's got to get to this puck to touch it up. Back-to-back power plays now for Owen Sound. Slashing will be the call.
And the evidence was right there as Durazio's stick broke apart. And at 8:08, Dave Cameron's and the Majors have to do it. Let's watch how close the Majors come to taking the lead. Flick off the draw, back to Durazio. The shot, iron. And then in deep, the penalty. Watch the stick. Oh, wait a minute. Hard to tell from that angle. But it is a call. Power play Owen Sound again.
Off the draw, puck comes to the front of the net. Majors clear it down the ice. Stanish being watched by Shug. Majors start with Shug and Cizikas, Canton and DeMello. And DeMello now with a chance. Bernardi overskated that one, went between his legs. Majors, though, had a chance to clear, couldn't get it out. Now a chance to lift it down the ice, and it is sent off the glass by Canton.
Crowd holds its breath here, whether you're cheering for Owen Sound or Mississauga at every shift. And again, the Majors have managed to contain the attack in deep on this power play.
Blacker just lifts it into the corner. Heading after it is Wilson. Majors able to clear, though. 1:10 left in the power play. Binnington behind his net. Boy, the Owen Sound attack are not making life easy on Binnington on these restarts up the ice shorthanded. Blacker on Fleming. Takes Fleming down to the corner. Opens it up top. Petgrave now for Hisham. 50 seconds left in the power play. 2-2 game. Spun out in front. Jamie Wise with the intercept in the backhand down the ice. Again, Binnington out to play it. He gives the puck away. Cramarosa coming down the wall. Squeezed out. Brace follows up. Gets a touch on the puck, and now it's Shemich being watched by Cramarosa. Petgrave to McNarty at center. Touched in by Berdnikov. McNarty in the corner. Puck bounces on him a little bit. DeMello gets a touch on it. Berdnikov as well. Not sure what the referee's thinking here. High stick.
A high stick touch with a pass. He's going to call that a high stick pass and put the face-off outside the blue line. It was swatted by an Owen Sound stick, and he waited to see who was finally going to pick up that puck. It's Owen Sound, and the face-off rule will take this back in Owen Sound territory, and that is crucial because there are just 17 seconds left in this Majors penalty and power play time for Mark Reeds. And the referee really watching this. Look at him. High stick. He doesn't touch it. He doesn't touch it. Now he blows the whistle. Okay, that's a high stick pass. That's a good call.
Majors win the draw. Backhand, easily steered aside by Binnington. Petgrave away from Rob Flick. 10 seconds left in the power play for Owen Sound. One more rush up the ice on this man advantage anyway. It's Cameron Brace flattened by Canton. Canton, who went to Game 7 with the Windsor Spitfires in the Western Conference Final last season. You count on his experience here in the dying moments of regulation time. 9:42 to go, back to 5-on-5.
Great kill again by the Majors. So both teams on the power play. Majors have a power play goal, but it has not been a factor. And let me say something you don't hear too often, and I'm from a broadcaster, and I hope I don't jinx it. I think this has been an extremely well officiated hockey game.
Majors trying to clinch their first J.R. Ross Robertson trophy. There's a shot from the slot, and back the other way comes McNarty. Smith-Pelly with a chance. J.P. Anderson moves it to the corner. And White's now to center ice. Pass off a skate. Blacker plays across ice. Over the line is Hisham. He can end the game. Anderson can also keep it at 2-2 as he did with that save. You're right, Roger. This arena's gotten quiet here. 8:44 to go as Hisham gains his own. Fans, too, have expelled a lot of energy, as have the players in this series. It's been a tough one to figure out. The Majors went up 2-0 in the series. Owen Sound with back-to-back wins in overtime tied it up. Here's a shot in front, stopped by Anderson. In front of the net, Andrew Fritz
regulation time. J.P. Anderson in goal for the Majors has not missed a second of playoff competition. Jordan Binnington has played just 5 periods in this series. But Dan, I think everybody, and I know there are people watching in Owen Sound cheering for the Attack, and people in Mississauga cheering for the Majors. Here's something I wish for everybody. It's a good goal. It's not a power play. It's not a cheapie. These two teams both deserve to win, and regardless of what happens in this game, we cannot say we do not have an undeserving OHL championship team, because both teams have battled to the end, battled hard. This is a classic.
One thing you can say is both teams will go into the Memorial Cup having a lot of respect for one another. After battling it out in this 7-game series, they will meet again in the Memorial Cup, and they can only hope that that game and that portion of the tournament means as much. Face off to the right of J.P. Anderson. Majors with the last change. Dave Cameron takes advantage of it. Sends out Casey Cizikas with Devontae Smith-Pelly. The face-off won by the Attack. It's back to the point. Cutting keeps it deep. Canton keeps the puck moving. Gilbert keeps it in. Bouncing puck. Right in front of the referee says play on. Centered in front. Cizikas trying to stick handle his way from in front of his own goal. Gets it back again. Puts a soft one off the glass. Shug trying to catch up to it. No icing on the play. Shug from the corner. Lost the handle on the puck, and it's back out to center ice.
Now you see fatigue here making a big difference. We're deep into the season, deep into the series. Who's got anything left in the gas tank? Because you've got to find another level here. Somehow, some way. That's everybody on the ice.
The Attack get to the blue line offside right here in front of us as Fritz tried to hold the line. Couldn't quite do it. 7:47 remaining in the third period.
Everybody breathe deeply. And that's what's happening here in the Hershey Center. Absolutely packed here today. No tickets available before the game. Scalpers in front of the building. You believe that for an OHL game in Mississauga? But there were.
And let's give credit where credit's due as well. Fine Mississauga fans here, but the Owen Sound fans traveled in droves. And there are a couple thousand here today.
Feels like everybody was at Game 6 is here for Game 7.
Here's a steal by Cramarosa. Close it down with a backhand. And that one went off the stick of Helis in front of the net. And Cramarosa, it's puck rate to come up with a puck. In the slot, almost given away by the Attack. The game center ice with Helis on the right wing. Helis gets his way through Percy. Puck comes to the side of the net. J.P. Anderson got over to make the stop. Helis back to the point. Shot bounces in front, and J.P. stays with it to keep the game tied at 2 with 7:07 to go.
Oh, you talk about the bounces. A trickle. It's going to come down to that maybe. And it almost came down here. Nice play. Helis directs it in. First the stop. And then, watch this one. Pass shot from the point. Trickles through. Anderson just sees it in time. And corrals that puck close to his body. 7:07 to go. 2-2 in Game 7.
Feels like all of a sudden Owen Sound are out shooting the Majors by a wide margin, but it's 24-21 in favor of the Attack for what's that is worth in a 2-2 hockey game, which at the end of the day probably is not a heck of a lot. Majors cleared out to center ice. Rob Flick won't get there as Hisham backs up in his own zone. Flick though putting some pressure on along with Riley Brace. That creates a turnover, and the Majors unable to gain the zone as they have to wait for Brace to get back onside. Another turnover. Majors having to wait on it. Canton. That allows McNarty some room. Flick is interfered with, no call. That opened up the ice for McNarty on the wing, and the Majors don't come back to center ice. Brace knocked off the puck. McNarty with it. Not so dangerous with that puck for Owen Sound. He has been the entire playoff, and then Riley Brace gives him an extra shove after the whistle. Rob Flick comes into it. I think if you're any of these players with 6:27 to go, the last thing you want to do is watch the outcome of this game be decided from the penalty box.
Well, I think you'll see the referees here, if they send anybody to the penalty box as a result of stuff like that, it'll be 2 players, 1 player aside as Captain Casey Cizikas looks on. The Majors have been outshot 9-4 in this third period and 24-21 overall. I talked about Jordan Binnington and what a story he has been. The Majors have not really, though, especially in this third period, been able to direct much pucks or traffic in front of them. 9-4 Owen Sound, the shots in this third period. And again, the shot stat is what it is, but we may as well be playing overtime now with 6:18 to play.
Wilson with the steal. Up ice along with Fritsch. Anderson goes a long way around to try and chase that puck down. Hershey behind his goal. Berdnikov comes up with it. From Russia, tough player to knock off the puck. Very similar to Maxim Kitson when he starts shielding that puck. Majors cleared out the center and Shug won't beat Fritsch to the puck, but he'll hang around. Nice breakout by Owen Sound. Berdnikov takes the shot. That's off the glass. Wilson reaching for it. Reaches around Percy and sent it out front. Wacker turning away from the coverage up high from the captain. Cizikas now getting some help from Smith Pelly. Trying to work it up the wall. It's kept in by Owen Sound. Fritsch will head to the bench on a change. As the Majors come to center ice, Smith Pelly backhands it deep and goes to the bench. Cizikas with him. 5:19 to go. 2-2, third period. Rogers OHL championship on the line. Petgrave weaves his way in and takes a shot, and that might have went off the shaft of the stick of J.P. Anderson.
Did not miss by much. Anderson got a piece of it, but just a small piece of it.
Now Mayer trying to reach for it around Maidens. Cameron Brace working against Canton. Good battle down low between those two. Jamie Wise there as well. Fleming. Very patient defenseman. Trying to send it up the center of the ice for Mayer. Wise following up on the play. This is not the time of the game for any drop passes at the blue line, so it's just fired deep. 4:30 to go. Every shift now as players look down the bench, they might have 2 shifts left at best in them to decide the champion of the Ontario Hockey League this season, Kitson.
That's if we don't play overtime.
Back to the point, DeRazio. Here's D'Souza. Big time player, turns it side of the goal. Kitson trying to wrap around, can't get to the net. Back to the point. DeRazio, no shot. Brace off his leg, and the Majors will be able to put it back in the zone. Percy. He's got a lane to get inside the zone down this left wing. Percy's deep. Percy puts it in front. Only one man back. It's DeRazio. He hammers it deep. Majors changing it up with 3:44 to go. Puck along the wall. D'Souza and Percy trying to dig it loose. McNarty is there. Majors keep it in. Here's D'Souza centering pass in front, and Binnington snares that one out of midair with 3:29 to go to keep it tied at 2.
Well, the Majors get to the net finally, and Binnington, cool as a cucumber, makes the glove save. Watch this play develop along the wall. This is work by Cizikas. Looked like he lost it, got it back in deep. D'Souza pass across, but no, Binnington got to it before Smith Pelly did. I thought maybe Smith Pelly had gotten a piece of that, but he didn't. It was in the glove of Jordan Binnington to keep it 2-2.
Majors win the draw. Shug spins away, backhand in front. Loose puck is cleared to the glass. Kept in. No Fleming fan on it. Almost tripped up. And it's Canton under pressure for Shug. Bouncing puck, he lost it. Look out, here comes Hishin. Snaps a shot, and that deflects high. Face-off will be in Mississauga's end of the ice with 3:09 to go.
Well, I said earlier, maybe one more goal in the hockey game. Sure looks that way. There has to be one more because we got to give away the Robertson Trophy. There's the backhand by Shug. Play there dangerously. Cizikas couldn't get a stick on it. And Owen Sound came back the other way with great energy by Hishin. That one went into the mesh. Back and forth they go. 3:09 to go in regulation.
It'll be Wilson on the face-off. Against Mayer. Mayer draws it back. Open ice on the far side. Corey Bureau with the shoot-in. Gilbert gets there ahead of Jamie Wise. Wise put enough pressure on the turnover. Kept deep by Mayer. Put off the boards by the attack into center ice. Percy. Lumped down by Fritsch. Gains his own. Gets to the line. Has it knocked off his stick. And now Wise. Pass ahead. Corey Bureau. In the slot. Bouncing puck. Look out. Bureau can't jam it in. Puck took a crazy hop. And Berdnikov comes up with it. Fritsch back to Berdnikov on the left wing. Working on Fleming. Berdnikov centers nobody home. Owen Sound was changing on the play. Mayer set to center ice. Kitson can't get deep. Back the other way. Shevich working on Canton. Fleming. Don't know if those two will leave the ice a whole lot. Here's a center pass in front. Can't get the shot away, and the Rangers counter now with Kitson. Kitson has D'Souza with him. Maxim Kitson holds it. Can't get the shot through. Petgrave with a nice slide to block it. 1:58 to go.
Petgrave with a great block there to slide across. Is Kitson.
Here's a steal by D'Souza. Looks back, sees Rob Flick is with him. D'Souza in the corner with 1:47 to go. Rob Flick takes a look, brings it out front, and takes the shot. Binnington kept it out. Majors with possession. Looking for Kitson in front. Canton from Maxim Kitson. Kitson up top. Percy, tough to keep it in, he does, and the shot doesn't get to the goal. On the boards and fired all the way down the ice. This will be an icing call against Slow and Sound with 1:26 to go in period number 3.
One more goal is required to determine an OHL champion. One more will do it with 1:26 to play. And Stuart Percy did a great job keeping that rush alive. Now I wonder if any of the teams want to take a timeout here for line change purposes. It looks like they don't. Play on.
Cizikas won the draw. Percy at the point. No shot. Percy actually fanned on it. Look out, Wilson trying to split the D, but Majors get a fortuitous bounce. And Fleming ahead for Cizikas. They chase after it. Stanish behind the goal for Blacker. Pressured by Shug. Blacker for Hishin. Touch ahead for Wilson at center ice. He's closed down in a hurry by Cizikas. Majors with Shug on this near side. Smith-Pelly trying to drive to goal. Devontae one-handed to the front of the net. Hishin comes up with it. 1 minute to go in the third.
Oh, Hishin got back and made a great play to gather that puck up.
Look out, McNarty trailing on the play. That's a big play by Percy to keep that play in front of him. 3-on-2 for the Majors. 46 seconds to go. Casey Cizikas. Smith-Pelly takes the shot and fires it wide. Back the other way now. Majors finish up the change. Have 2 men back. McNarty with 30 seconds to go drags a shot wide. Wilson's shot. That is blocked from the far wall. Still with it. Down low, and that shot is wide of the mark. Shug with 27 seconds. Lifts it out to center ice as the Majors try to regroup and finish a change. J.P. Anderson careful with that one, and he's going to hold it. Wow, for a face-off with McNarty right there. 17.9 seconds to go.
Oh my, that could cost the Majors dearly. I know you can't take chances, but Owen Sound has what it wants. A face-off in Majors territory with 17.9 seconds left in regulation time. There'll be one more goal scored this OHL season.
Neither team will take a timeout here. How about that?
I'm a bit surprised, got to tell you. You think you'd want to just for psychological reasons more than anything else.
Referees look to the bench, and both coaches said, no, let's drop the puck. Healis on the faceoff. Majors get it outside the zone with 15 seconds to go. Riley Brace against Gilbert. 10 seconds. Brace with a bump. Bouncing puck. Petgrave, 6 seconds to go. Turns it over. Rob Flick now throws it side of the net. Takes a bounce in front. And it's on the goal line. Puck is loose, but the whistle is blown with .1 remaining on the clock.
Overtime coming. There is
that
overtime.
Is one bold prediction.
Coming. Wow. Can you stand this? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Dave Cameron said at the start of the playoffs, we prepare and plan for every series to go 7 games and overtime of game 7. Well, guess what? He's got his wish. Overtime, game 7.
Face off to the right of Binnington. And Rob Flick will just wind up and try to fire it on goal. That's all you've got. You don't even need J.P. Anderson to leave the net. It doesn't matter. As soon as that puck leaves the official's hands and hits the ice. Now, it is a Mississauga home game, so you can guarantee that that clock will start after the puck hits the ice. There will not be any quick hands here.
Referee is on the phone. I don't know what the discussion was there. Maybe adding time on the clock, if that was a discussion.
Yeah, I think they're confirming that everything was good.
Everything was good. A tenth of a second. A tenth of a second.
Well, here
Flick
you go.
can only shoot on the net.
And a good play by Healis to make sure that that wasn't going to happen. So we play all season long Game 7 through 3 periods. Not a thing decided. These two teams, benches full of warriors, folks, when it comes to hockey. As we go to overtime.
There's not much else you can say, is there? We'll get some analysis from the panel, but it's 2-2 after 3. One more goal for the OHL championship. Who is going to have the goal of a lifetime? Let's go to the panel, led by Ben Ennis. Ben?
Guys, this is too much for me. I don't know if I can take this. Overtime of Game 7 of the Rogers OHL Championship Series. Absolutely insane. We still haven't seen a goal since the first period. 2-2 between the Mississauga St. Michael's Majors and Owen Sound Attack. I'm Ben Ennis, joined by Peter Curtis, Matt Scooby.
Ben's rattled.
I can barely even think. I mean, people are walking in front of us. Nobody knows what's going on. The Mississauga St. Michael's Majors, a great opportunity in that third period. Michael D'Orazio hit a post. Great goaltending on both ends.
Well, J.P. Anderson has been that steadying influence. He's made some big saves here. We talked about it earlier. Not a guy that gets a lot of consideration because all we've talked about is who's starting in net for Owen Sound. But J.P. Anderson has made some great saves.
Yeah, and you don't talk about it because there's no question. And I think he did make some big saves. Also give, Binnington again some more credit. He made a couple of saves as well. That post, that D'Orazio post, though, directly off the post. I think almost as loud a ping as I've ever heard when a puck goes off the post. So it's exciting. What Rod just said, how much more is there left to say? All through the regular season, all through the playoffs. I think it's very fitting for a series like this to come down to Game 7, let alone we go to overtime. Well, I hope they got the defibrillators warmed up here for this overtime session. I don't know if a lot of people can take this anymore, but Game 7 overtime, we talked in that second intermission of how good the Majors penalty kill looked. And then in overtime, we thought the Majors had a great opportunity to, in the third period, a great opportunity to start that period, 58 seconds on the power play. They end up taking a couple of penalties and a couple of big kills as well.
Well, that Mississauga power play had to be the worst of the series for them, excluding the one where they gave up a shorthanded goal. No possession, one Kitson shot off the mask. And you can tell right now there are only 5 defensemen on that Mississauga bench. David Parente's not there. And we're going to see if these defensemen have anything left in the tank.
It'll be, they're got to find it somewhere at this point in Game 7 in our OHL Championship. It's all on the line at this point. I don't want to start throwing cliches out, so we'll just stop right there. Alicia Warner found somebody for the Mississauga St. Michael's Majors that would like to talk to her heading into this overtime, as I'm sure the Majors players getting rested up. But Jim Cassidy down with Alicia Warner.
Thank you, Ben. Director of Player Personnel, Jim Cassidy, with me. We knew it was going to be tough getting one of those boys going into an overtime Game 7. That's next to never going to happen. But your heartstrings are getting pulled in this game, too. What do you think the Majors need to do? Well, how do you think they've done so far, first of all?
I think it's been a pretty even game. I mean, both teams have played well. Just got to stay the course and hopefully get a break and we can score a goal. I think a break's going to win it. So see what happens here.
Shots have been pretty evenly through. Penalties we saw shift a little more to the side of the Majors, having to kill a few more penalties than they did in the beginning of the game. But besides that, really, is there one thing that stuck out to you that you think they need to improve on in this first overtime?
Not really, no. I mean, maybe try to get as many shots on goal as you can because, that you never know what's going to happen, especially in an overtime game, a bad bounce or hit somebody's shin pad. So I think that's what we have to do is get as many shots on goal as we can.
Probably the quietest I've ever heard this arena with about 5,000 or more people in it. Everybody very, very tense here at ice level. Anxious to see who's going to be the J. Ross Robertson Cup winners. Guys, we'll send it back up to you.
Yeah, they took the cup away from us. I guess they planned on handing it out at the end of that third period. Not going to happen. And who knows how long it'll take to hand out that Robertson Cup. But let's talk a little bit more about this crazy game. And Peter, you noticed David Parente was not on the bench for the Mississauga St. Michael's Majors. We don't have word as to why he wasn't, but the Majors right now are playing with 5 defensemen.
And we thought DeMello was seeing less ice time through the second period as he had struggled in the first. And then what happens? I look out, I see DeMello's out there. You look at the bench. Parente hasn't been on the bench for the whole third period. I think Mark Cannon's been out there every second shift, deservedly. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge for the defense corps in Mississauga to manage that strength and energy they need in overtime.
I was a little bit surprised how much time the fourth line of Mississauga got, especially in the waning minutes of that third period as well. Dave Cameron has confidence in them. Also, Garrett Wilson for Owen Sound played the last 3 minutes of that period. He was absolutely dead tired on his way to the bench with about 17 seconds left. So Mark Reed's going to his stars as well. It's that kind of game. crazy game, and the Owen Sound attack, full credit to them. We've seen a couple of games in this series, one-sided affairs, the first two for the Mississauga St. Michael's Majors, outscoring the attack 11-4 in those first two games. Since then, it's been tooth and nail every single game. This game, hard to decide who's got the edge. I mean, shots are just about even. We've seen two games in this series go to overtime. The attack have won both of those, so I guess they've got to be the favorites going into this extra session.
Or maybe their luck has run out. The one guy I'm thinking about is Owen Sound's Andrew Shaw. Game 5 takes a match penalty. Here's a guy with 10 goals in the playoffs, and now you don't get to play Game 6. You don't get to be here for Game 7. He's an offensive kind of guy. He went over the deep end and getting that match penalty, and right now, Owen Sound, maybe that extra little pump from a guy with 10 playoff goals is what they need going into overtime.
They've got to look to guys like Wilson now at this point, and to Robbie McNarty, who's leading the playoff in goals as well, but give them a lot of credit. They came out, I think, for that last 10 minutes of that third period, they outplayed Mississauga. Mississauga was back on their heels, trying not to make the mistake instead of going after it. Maybe in the last couple of minutes, they really did. They had the offensive pressure on, but give the Owen Sound attack a lot of credit right now. They came out and really pushed the pace and tried to get it by Anderson, just we're unable to. We're going to be riding life and death on every single shot for both teams here in this overtime session in Game 7. Let's throw it up to Braden Wildo first.
Thank you, Ben. Yeah, a lot going on in Quebec, or at least on the east side, as we get set for game number 6 of that Gatineau-St. John series. That could go 7 if Gatineau can somehow come up big tonight. And one guy who has stood out, we want to talk about the goaltending for both of these teams that are still alive. So one guy who has stood out for Gatineau on this playoff run, their goaltender, Maxime Clermont.
That's right, Clermont's a draft pick of the New Jersey Devils, and he's really kept Gatineau in this series against the St. John team that really, by all accounts, is the best team left in the country, #1 ranked in the CHL. So Clermont, with some great numbers for Gatineau, has really kept them alive, and, well, he'll look to keep them alive even longer as Game 6 goes tonight, and he'll be backed by that home crowd at the Bob.
Clermont, 225 goals against average in the playoffs, which is considerably lower than he had in the regular season, so he stepped it up, the New Jersey Devils prospect. And like I said, that is Game 6 between St. John and Gatineau in Gatineau at, what do they call it, the Bob?
The Bob.
The Bob tonight, 7 o'clock. 6 o'clock is Game 7. That goes tomorrow night if Gatineau can stay alive against the #1 ranked team in all of Canada. Out west, we know Kootenay has moved on. We've talked about that ad nauseum. But the situation with their goaltenders, what do we have to look at in the Mem Cup for them?
Yeah, well, Kootenay's goaltender Nathan Lewin was named the MVP of the finals, and really he's been a revelation for them. I talked a little bit about Cody Eakin and what he's provided offensively for Kootenay, but Lewin has been just as good on the other end. He's 16-3 in the playoffs. He leads the WHL with 3 shutouts, a goals against of .224, .923 save percentage. This bombardment of statistics is telling you that he's been really good, and he'll be here in Mississauga. We'll see him play along with Cody Eakin and the rest of the WHL champions, the Kootenay Ice.
Good to shine some light on the goalies. We talked about Eakin and some of the offensive powerhouse players on these teams, and now to look at the goalies as well. It's always good to do that. So we'll keep an eye on that Quebec game. Who knows how long we'll be here, so maybe they'll drop the puck there by the time we get done with this one. So we'll keep an eye on that. Now we'll take a break on OHL Hockey here on Rogers TV.
Backhand pass, knocks it down again, scores! Oh my goodness! Johnny on the spot, and he started it all, so why not finish it? Pass to the far post, and a one-timer! And the puck finds the back of the net.
You got to pick your moments. When it comes time to be on the ice, that's the only thing on your mind, and that's when you're on the ice in practice, you're trying to get better.
Welcome back to a sold-out Hershey Center. The Mississauga St. Michael's Majors all tied up with the Owen Sound attack at 2s through 60 minutes of play. We're going to have overtime in Game 7. How awesome is that? I'll give you an answer. Very awesome. I'm Ben Ennis, joined by Peter Curtis and Matt Scooby. Guys, overtime records of these two teams, very different. The attack
haven't lost when going to the extra session, 2-0 in this series alone. The Majors 2-2 in overtime in the playoffs, and both of those losses coming in this series to the Owen Sound Attack.
Well, you have to wonder, do the players really know about these stats? Are they thinking back to that Pee Wee tournament that went 7 overtimes? I'm pretty sure right now that dressing room, they're not worried about stats. They're not worried about the fact Owen Sound was able to win one in overtime here in Game 3. They just want to get some rest. They want to make sure they don't miss their shift. I'll tell you right now, they might even go to the stick rack and make sure they grab a new stick, because you do not want to have a stick break in overtime of Game 7.
Like we saw Michael Durazio just happen to him in the third period. You know, he has a new stick in his hands. But yeah, it's about the same thing. You know, you don't want to give up those odd man rushes, you know, but you can't play too conservatively as well. The Majors played a little bit conservatively, as we just mentioned. So kind of let go just a little bit. And it's, I think, again, mentioned it in the second intermission, it's going to be that one bounce, it's going to be that one break, and that's going to be it. And I think it'll be just be game over. Well, I go back to Game 3, the overtime game here in Mississauga. Kind of a weak one on J.P. Anderson. Is the theory change for both these teams? Maybe shoot more pucks on net in overtime.
Well, I don't think you're going to see a 3-on-2 or 2-on-1. I don't see that pinching defenseman. So if anything, I know we're going to do our overtime picks. I'm going to be picking defensemen to shoot from the point and get through a forest there in front of the goalie, and if he doesn't see it, they have a better chance of scoring.
They cost them. That's what Dave Cameron said after Game 6 as well. The Majors didn't do a very good job of getting traffic in front of Binghamton as well. So we'll see if they do it. They've done a decent job tonight, but I don't think they've done their best job either at this point as well. All right, let's give our overtime picks then. Peter, who you got?
I'm going with Blacker on Owen Sound, and I'm going with Fleming on Mississauga, because he just had a bad game. He wants to make up for it.
D-Man, he said D-Man. I'm going to go Rob Flick for Mississauga. We're going to go with Game 4 overtime hero Cameron Grace for Owen Sound. All right, I'm going to go out on a big-time limb and take Corey Bureau for the Mississauga St. Michael's Majors. I'm also going to take a defenseman as well with Matt Pengrave for the Owen Sound Attack. Overtime coming up. Game 7. You're watching Rogers TV.
Awesome. My earpiece is all over.
He's on a breakaway, scores!
The gutsy, determined effort on the road.
The chance scores! They're starting to pour it on now.
Two teams even in the series and regulation with the same outcome. This is what it's come to. Every hockey player's dream. Game 7. Overtime. Championship on the line. Welcome to overtime. Welcome to sudden death.
These two men have battled throughout this afternoon. 26-25 the shots in favor of the visitors. But that doesn't matter. 2-2 after 3 periods, and its next goal wins. And for the record, in these playoffs, Mississauga 2-2 in overtime. Owen Sound a perfect 4-0 with victories over London and Plymouth in Game 1 of both of those series. They beat Mississauga in Games 3 and 4 to even this series. And for the Majors, their victories in overtime. Roger, you remember that 4-3 win over Sudbury in Game 4 and 3-2 over Niagara back in Game 3 of that series.
Sudbury game, the Majors trailed 3-0 in the third period. Niagara game, they trailed 2-0 late in the second period, came back to win in overtime. They trailed 1-0. They trailed 2-1. We've had no scoring since that electrifying first period, and there is one more goal to be scored this year in the OHL. Just one. Welcome to overtime.
That man, Justin Shug, knows all about both victory and defeats in Game 7. And he came here on a mission this afternoon to be victorious with the Majors. And the Owen Sound attack, led by the likes of McNarty and Hishin and Garrett Wilson, are here to do the same. And they've got the puck at center ice. It's turned over. Devontae Smith-Pelham, a bouncer behind the net. Casey Zizekas can't get there. Stanish gives it away. Smith-Pelham will keep it deep. Casey Zizekas behind the net. Fleming up top. Puts it off the inboards. Smith-Pelham trying to work away from Blacker, who comes up with a steal. And now Hishin looking for Halmo, who gloves it down nicely in the neutral zone. Fleming is back and pins Halmo to the boards. Halmo fighting for it. Comes up with a puck. McNarty now from the corner. Takes a look on his backhand. Heads back to the point. Puck to the side of the net. Percy the ice, hoping to reach a sneaky Maxim Kitson, who was trying to get behind the defense.
Rangers tried that breakaway pass. We've seen Owen Sound do it and didn't miss by much to big number 13.
Here's a turnover at the blue line. Wilson got a tip on it. The shot stopped by Anderson, and he's going to hold on. There won't be many chances taken now that we're in overtime very early in the first overtime period.
Well, no point in taking any chances now, for sure. Garrett Wilson has been phenomenal for the Owen Sound attack this afternoon. He has been a warrior, as of all the players, veteran players, leaders. Doesn't wear the C for nothing.
It is the 15th overtime game in these Ontario Hockey League playoffs this season. Face off to the left of Anderson. Gill is trying to go straight forward with it, but it's the Majors. Cramarosa. Does he write the record books with this shot? Stopped by Binnington.
Every shot on goal is breathtaking right now. Heart-stopping this is. And Cramarosa showed some great speed as he bent over from the exertion of that rush to beat the Owen Sound players in and get that shot off. Both teams make changes. Got to keep fresh bodies out there now. How can you not love this?
Face off to the right of Binnington. Lines up with that big left-hand glove hand. Fleming comes down the boards. Rob Flick as well, trying to dig the puck loose. Leaf draft pick Blacker comes up with it. Takes a hit behind the net. Blacker pressured on the puck. Majors looking to create the turnover down low. Then Blacker and Flick get tied up with one another behind the play as the puck comes back to Fleming and Canton. Fleming calmly up to Kitson. Kitson maybe too calmly on the puck there as he didn't show a lot of urgency to get that puck off the boards and outside the zone. As a result, you see the puck underneath the two players, and who's going to have the hand pass here? Nobody. Play keeps going. It's up the wall, and now Kitson fanned on the pass out again, and he smacks the stick on the ice as he goes to the bench. Not a great shift for Maxim Kitson. He'll hope he gets another one.
Almo blows a tire behind the net there.
Here's a steal by Shug at center ice. He's got two over on the far side. Shug holds it, draws two players, takes the shot. Save made easily by Jordan Binnington. Majors can't keep it in the zone. Yes, they do, actually, as the clearing pass is gloved down by Cizikas. And then Wilson just golfs it into the Majors zone. Almo goes to the bench for Owen Sound as the Majors turn. At center ice, it's Cizikas. Just tips it. Keevan Cutting. Every stride, the burn is in the legs now. Game 7, overtime period number 1. Shug on the far wall. Wilson starts the breakout for Owen Sound to center in the shoot-in. Off the glass, Berdnikov comes with his man. Here's a shot steered aside by JP. Hershey goes high with this one, and the faceoff will come back into the Mississauga zone with 16:42 remaining in the 4th period of play. Yes, that means overtime.
I want to congratulate the Toronto Rock of the National Lacrosse Association. They have won the championship today, edging the Washington Stealth 8-7 at the Air Canada Center. So our best wishes go out. And Dan, I know a team near and dear to you. You have some of your most memorable calls as a play-by-play guy in the Rock's early championship years. Their 6th championship clinched this afternoon at the Air Canada Center.
Well, Toronto is a champion, and the Rock, we're told, had a 7-2 lead at one point. The Stealth came back. As you just mentioned, a 1-goal championship win, and 1 goal will decide this championship as well. Bray centers in front. No shot is score! The Owen Sound attack are Ontario Hockey League champions. They come back from 2-0 down in the series to win it 3-2 in overtime. Do you believe in Owen Sound? two teams will battle in the Memorial Cup. But right now, this moment belongs to the Owen Sound Attack. Roger to go down 2-0 in the series and fight the way back that they did under that man, Mark Reeds, on the road to win in overtime. Crushing for the home team and just complete gutsy effort by the Owen Sound Attack.
Full credit to them. There is no question. Full credit to them. The look of total dejection of Mississauga. There must be a winner. There must be a loser. But full credit to Owen Sound and their great fans. They are the OHL champions. There's nothing left to say.
It was a scramble down low in front of the goal. And as Roger, you mentioned during the broadcast, you hoped it wouldn't be a squirrely call, a cheap penalty call. It was 5-on-5, a battle down low, and the Owen Sound Attack won the final battle of this series.
The looks say it all on the faces of the Majors. A decimating loss for this team. Decimating loss for the franchise. There can only be one winner. It's overtime of Game 7. Joy in Owen Sound. Heartbreak tonight in Mississauga without any question. As the fans look on and the players shake their hands. Mark Reeds, Coach of the Year, did a fabulous job keeping his team prepared in this series. As did Dave Cameron, but the Owen Sound Attack and their fans celebrate the Majors and their fans, and J.P. Anderson's face says it all.
I think maybe the hardest part of this, the Majors have been through it all year, but they lose this at home, and it's a crowd almost dominated by Owen Sound fans. It's, you and I have talked about it all year. The Majors, it hasn't bothered them at all that they haven't had a lot of fan support here in Mississauga, and they battled through it, had a great season, best team throughout the regular season, and they take it to Game 7. The winning goal, Jared Maidens, goes down to the record books for the overtime winner, his second of the game. First round pick, 4th overall in 2010 out of Grimsby, Ontario. It's got to be disheartening to hear that kind of roar in your own rink as well when the puck goes in behind your own goaltender. Congratulations to the Owen Sound Attack, who have the championship hats on now, and they will hoist the J. Ross Robertson Trophy. And these two teams will meet again not long from now.
The other end
for a national championship, maybe.
The other end of the rink, while the Attack celebrate, the Majors stand and watch. And there is jubilation. How about that? What a wonderful moment for the Owen Sound Attack. Their franchise, their fans. If there's such a thing as a small market in the OHL, that's Owen Sound. They earned it. They worked hard. They battled, as you said, back from the 2-0 series deficit and are full value. But overtime of Game 7, it could have went either way. You can only have one champion, and there they are.
Yeah, and the tough part of this will be for Mississauga is to shake it off. The host of the Memorial Cup. As I mentioned, these teams will meet again, and you have to somehow get rid of this bitter pill and go back to work. And that's where the coaching staff has to come in. They got to pick these guys up. And for Mark Reeds, his challenge will be to remind his guys that that's one battle won. Now we've got an entirely different battle on our hands.
And a message to everybody who thought that both these teams are going to the Memorial Cup, so who cares about the OHL final? Take a look. I'll show you some guys that care about the OHL final.
They've already got Jesse Blacker out there with a video camera taping this. Toronto Maple Leaf draft pick, Brian Burke, of course, still sitting up in the box, watching the celebration. Wouldn't mind getting another look at the goal so we can see what happened on the play. Let's do that right now. It's our second look at the game winner.
It's good pressure. Puck takes a bounce here. Majors can't control, squirts loose, and on the stick of Brace. Off the stick, or rather the skate of Brace. Majors just can't clear. And Maidens finishes it off in jubilation. Brace almost had it out. Maidens just did enough to slip it past J.P. Anderson. They put it up on the clock here, and the fans get to see it again.
And also the Robertson Cup, emblematic of the championship of the Ontario Hockey League. Mr. Brant, over to you.
Why would you boo David Branch?
Commissioners get booed. That's what they do. He knows that.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'm sure everyone here would agree this has been an outstanding OHL Rogers Championship Series. What a special moment for a young player by the name of Jared Maidens to score in overtime. Last year, he was at the Hershey Center playing in the OHL Cup. So quite a development here, Jared. Going back to 1999, arguably the greatest hockey player ever to play our game retired. And the Ontario Hockey League, in wishing to recognize Wayne Gretzky, former Sault Ste. Marie Greyhound, created the Wayne Gretzky 99 Award to be presented annually to the playoff MVP. This year, it goes to a young man who had an incredible 15 goals, 9 assists in just 22 games. Robbie McNarty.
Thank you very much, Mr. Branch, and congratulations to Robbie McNarty. The Robertson Cup is awarded annually to the champion of the Ontario Hockey League. The cup was presented in 1910 by J. Ross Robertson, who was president of the Ontario Hockey Association from 1901 to 1905. Tonight marks the 101st time that the Robertson Cup has been awarded for junior hockey supremacy here in Ontario. Commissioner David Branch will now present the Robertson Cup to Garrett Wilson, captain of the 2011 OHL champion, Owen Sound Attack.
Just before handing it over to Garrett, I would like to, first of all, welcome you all back for the MasterCard Memorial Cup starting Friday. It's going to be an outstanding event. You know, you cannot underestimate or overstate what the Owen Attack has accomplished this year. In size, the smallest community. In heart, the biggest. To the ownership group, led by Peter and Paul McDermott, Faye Harshman, Dr. Bob Severs, Frank Coulter, you were tough. You made it work. We're so happy for the work you've done. And led by Dale DeGray and his management team and head coach Mark Reeds, congratulations, all the players.
just to survive. And this is the case. Look at this survival. They have the championship and full value for that Robertson Cup without question. I know Alicia Warner is down at ice level. She's going to try to get a word now with Mark Reeds. Let's go down to ice level. Alicia has Mark Reeds. Hopefully she can hear us. Go ahead, Alicia.
Reeds of the Owen Sound. Here is head coach Mark Reeds of the Owen Sound Attack. Coach, how does it feel?
It's unbelievable. It's a great feeling. You know, just for the city of Owen Sound and for the players and Joey Hishton and what we've gone through the last 4 years and Garrett Wilson, it's just a unbelievable feeling, and we're obviously very excited.
Did you say anything different to the guys in the dressing room before that overtime period?
Not really, just that we belong here, and you know, why can't it be us? And you know, we're obviously playing to win, and who knows who's going to get the game-winning goal in overtime. But obviously, Jared Maidens, it was exciting for him. First-year player, you know, ends up icing it for us.
How do you keep the focus heading into Memorial Cup after such a momentous award already?
Well, I think again, you know, we'll enjoy it for a day or two here, and then we have to regroup quickly and get focused on the Memorial Cup next week.
Head coach Mark Reeds, OHL Coach of the Year and now OHL champion. Guys, we'll send it back upstairs.
And congratulations to Mark. What a job he did this year, and very deserving of Coach of the Year. As the passing of the trophy continues. And how about the goaltending situation as Michael Zador has it now? Roger, Owen Sound wins the Robertson Trophy using 3 goaltenders in one series.
You don't see that very often. How often do 3 goaltenders even play, even dress for a team at this level of play? But incredibly, that is what happened. And boy, did Mark Reeds use them to perfection. 2 for Stager, 2 for Zador. Both played Game 5. Bennington comes in Game 6. Mark Reeds did a fabulous job coaching in this series, preparing his team and doing a fantastic job all around, and especially in goal. And how about this Bennington kid? 25 saves today to win an OHL championship. Absolutely phenomenal indeed. And it looks like Alicia's down at ice level once again. Alicia, go ahead.
Thanks, guys. Here with OHL champion Jesse Blacker. How does that sound?
It's pretty good. You know, to get a chance to do this again, it's an awesome feeling, especially with such a great group of guys.
Did you ever think that you'd have the possibility to come back here again, especially after the move from Windsor to go to Owen Sound?
You know, it was doubtful in the beginning, but Dale DeGray, our coach, made a great, put a great team together here, a hard-working group of guys, and you know, that's how we won our games.
Ryan Burke was here watching you today and noticed and said that you had a fantastic game so far, and he was really impressed. Did you feel that this was one of your better games so far of the series?
I don't know. I don't try to judge myself too hard. It's a 7-game series, and you know, I just try to play hard every night and be a plus player.
Go get in that photo. Congratulations. Jesse Blacker, Toronto Maple Leaf draft pick in the 09 draft, and now OHL champion with the Owen Sound Attack.
All right, Alicia Warner, thank you very much as we stick around, and we thank you for staying with us in this Rogers OHL Championship post-game show as the celebrations continue on the ice. And nice mention there from Jesse Blacker that Dale DeGray put together a real team of battlers, Roger, and you don't come back from 2-0 down to win in overtime on the road in Game 7 if you don't have heart. Dale DeGray should be given a ton of credit for the team he's put together here in Owen Sound.
He did a fantastic job, and look at those smiling faces. He built a veteran team at the trade deadline while other teams stocked up, made big major moves. The Attack really didn't. They felt comfortable with their club. They made moves, definitely, before the deadline, and they were ready to do it, but people questioned them all year, Dan. It was, oh, well, you know what, they'll eventually fall back. They can't keep it going. Well, guess what? They kept it going. They survived adversity in the first round against the London Knights. They survived adversity throughout the playoffs in this series in particular, down 2-0. Just an incredible, incredible story. And yes, Dale DeGray, Mark Reeds, the ownership group. Ray McElvee's been in this organization for a long, long time, has done a wonderful job as an owner and now the business manager. And everybody involved in the organization, and they're fantastic fans. Listen to them.
Make no mistake, this series was decided on the ice between the players and the coaches. But don't think that those some 2,500 fans from Owen Sound didn't play a role in the hearts of these players as they went to overtime against a team that didn't give up many goals all season long in this rink. And they gave up just one too many in the end.
Well, and we said after that first period, and then the game settled down in period 2, there would probably be only one more goal scored. Jared Maiden scored it, and it will live forever in Owen Sound hockey laurel. 3 minutes and 27 seconds into overtime. Looks like Alicia's got the hero, Jared Maiden's down there. And let's get down to Alicia, who's got the overtime winner.
Here with Jared Maidens, there may be a new mayor in Owen Sound by the end of the day. The overtime winner to give the Owen Sound Attack the OHL title. Take us through the goal.
Just one of those things, you're in the right spot at the right time, you know. Just trying to get contact to the puck, and you just slowly watch it go in. It was a great feeling.
Not only an OT winner, but also a goal in regulation today. Where does this compare in the games of your junior hockey or minor hockey career? I can see you're still shaking.
Yeah. I don't think this compares to anything previous before this. This is the best feeling by far in hockey. I'm loving it.
Anybody who wasn't here today, I know there's a ton of Owen Sound Attack fans, but anybody who couldn't make it that maybe you want to say hi to at home?
I think we had a lot of fans here from Owen Sound Attack, but no, thanks for the support for everyone. It's been great. We wouldn't have done it without you.
Jared Maiden, your overtime winner for the Owen Sound Attack. We'll send it back up to you.
And you saw in the replay there the pass that came from out in front by Cameron Brace, and another one of those players that won't get talked about a lot, a former Toronto Junior Canadian. Boy, off that scramble at the side of the net, you saw two Majors players kind of get caught up with one another. That opened up some space in front of the goal, and then, as mentioned by Jared Maiden's there, that puck just so slowly went across the line. You could see it was going to happen. And for a Majors fan, you just in slow motion saw the season come to an end with this overtime loss in the OHL campaign. And for the Owen Sound Attack, as Jared mentioned, you just watch that thing and you're thinking, go, baby, go. And
Yeah.
it did for them, and they win the championship.
Well, it slips in, Dan, and that's a perfect description. And on the other side, Riley Brace was back. He was forechecking. He was trying to get back into the play. He did. The puck just went off his skate, tried to move it out, couldn't. And just while Maidens watches it slip in to win the championship, Brace and the Majors watch it slip in to lose the championship. Euphoria in Owen Sound, heartbreak in Mississauga, but that's a great game of hockey.
A reminder, this is all a build-up to the MasterCard Memorial Cup, and tickets are still available. But as Roger mentioned earlier, a number of fans showed up here today, many of them from out of town, expecting, because of the poor attendance all season by the city of Mississauga supporting the Majors, that there would be seats available, and there weren't. They went away disappointed, and unfortunately for them, well, hopefully they found a place to watch the game in the first place. But what you need to know, tickets will sell out for the MasterCard Memorial Cup. If you wait, it is on you that you didn't get here to see drama like this that I guarantee you will unfold when the champions of the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League and the Western Hockey League arrive here in Mississauga. You will see the best the best hockey that this country has to offer. It'll be tough to top this series, but mark my words, the best teams in the nation are about to show up here at the Hershey Center.
Well said, and the tickets are going quickly, and fans in Owen Sound will have another chance to cheer their OHL champion Owen Sound Attack Saturday, May 21st, their first game against the Kootenay Ice, as Zweep gets his turn, obviously, with the J. Ross Robertson Trophy, and a great celebration continues. Majors will open the Memorial Cup Friday night. Friday night, you talk about having to get refocused after losing Game 7 of an OHL final. Friday night against the winner of the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League Championship Series, which continues. St. John and Gatineau playing Game 6. St. John leading the series 3-2. So yes, the Memorial Cup will sell out. Better get those tickets early because there are a lot of people disappointed today.
Now the fans here from Owen Sound chanting, "We want the cup." They know there's more work to be done, and again, I think it was put well by Mark Reeds. They'll celebrate this, and they should celebrate this accomplishment for the next couple of days and then get back to work. We'll have every game of the MasterCard Memorial Cup on Rogers Sportsnet Peter Lobardia, Sam Cosentino, and Rob Falls will be in the house. Roger Lajoie, Jack Miller, and yours truly will be with Sportsnet Radio Fan 590. So Sportsnet has it covered from radio to television and live at fan590.com as well.
So the Attack celebrate, their fans celebrate. Boy, did they come out in thousands to support this franchise here this afternoon.
What a Game 7.
What a Game 7
What
is
a
right.
Game 7.
And what a performance. Robbie McNarty, the OHL's most valuable player in the playoffs, is with Alicia Warner right now. Go ahead, Alicia.
I'm here with the 99 award winner, the Wayne Gretzky Award winner, the playoff MVP, Robbie McNarty. Now, this would be a fantastic ending to a junior hockey career, but you get to keep going. Talk about how good it feels here today.
Well, it's an unbelievable feeling. I mean, to win the Jay Robertson and to win the Wayne Gretzky Trophy, I mean, amazing feeling. Could not be happier. But like you said, it's not the end for us. We're going to have fun tonight and celebrate this great win for our community and for our team and organization. But we know that the grand prize is next week.
The support that you guys had here today was really phenomenal. You guys are coming out to like raucous crowds and applause. Talk about how much the fan base really meant to you guys and the success of the team this postseason.
Well, I mean, especially tonight. I mean, we've done really well at home this playoff run and all season. And basically tonight it felt like a home game because we had over, I think, 2,500 to 3,000 fans here. And to hear them in warm-up even going crazy, we fed off that energy. I mean, they did their part and we did our part. And it was a great mix of hard work from both the fans and us, and a great payoff at the end.
How do you come off this high here in a couple of days to prepare for a Memorial Cup and yet another national championship?
Well, we know that, I mean, this is not the end for us, and we have to be focused on that. We know St. Mike's is going to have that bitter feeling in there, a bitter taste in their mouth. We know they're going to come back and they're going to want to beat us. We have to be ready for that. We're going to have to do a lot of work getting ready for the Kootenay and possibly St. John's, I think. I can't remember. And we're just going to be ready to go. We have to put this one behind us maybe after tonight and be ready for the Mem Cup next week.
Congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
Robbie McNarty, 15 goals, 9 assists for the OHL number 99 Wayne Gretzky Trophy award-winning playoff MVP. We'll send it back upstairs.
Congratulations to the Owen Sound Attack, winner of the J. Ross Robertson Cup, 2011 League Champions.
Absolutely fantastic season of OHL hockey on Rogers TV, and could not have had a more deserving champion in the Owen Sound Attack. Welcome back upstairs at the Hershey Center. I'm Ben Ennis, joined by Peter Curtis and Matt Scooby. Guys, what can we say about this entire season? It went the distance. Game 7, overtime. The Majors, great fight against the Owen Sound Attack, but this is just a great performance in this series, not just in this series for the Attack, but just the entire season long. Like Raj and Dan mentioned it, we're not favorites to be one of the top teams in the OHL to start the year, but everything broke right for them, and they had a fantastic season.
Well, when you consider they finished first in their conference and still felt they weren't getting the respect they deserve, they put everyone on notice that, you know what, we walked into Mississauga, who just happens to be hosting the Memorial Cup. We won the championship on your home ice, and you know they're going to be talking about let's come back and win the Memorial Cup.
Yeah, you heard about the players were mentioning. Robbie McNarty just mentioned in the interview after, celebrate tonight, and Mark Reed's mentioned it as well. Celebrate, enjoy this. But now, the Memorial Cup starts on Friday. They don't have that long, really. They got to get ready for the teams that are coming here to Mississauga. Kootenay, we know for sure. We're not, the Game 6 of the Quebec final goes today as well. So at this point, they don't really know who they're going to be preparing for, but just enjoy this at this point, and after tonight, start prepping for the weekend.
Talk about the winners in the Owen Sound Attack and what a great season they had, what a great game, great playoffs. All the credit in the world to the Owen Sound Attack. We got to focus a little bit on the Mississauga St. Michael's Majors as well. A disappointing end of their season. They were up 2-0 in the series. They lose it in 7 games. They were far and away the best team during the regular season points-wise. They ended the regular season on a 10-game winning streak. Absolutely dominant here in this building during the regular season. But in the end, they just couldn't get it done in overtime against the Owen Sound Attack.
And you have to wonder, is this something that Dave Cameron's going to have to take hold of to get the players set, or is it the players themselves? They're going to have to maybe close the door and tell the coaches, we don't need you. We're going to regroup on our own, because they are lucky in that they have a chance at redemption. Happens to be the national championship, which they deserve to be in anyway, so it's not like they slid in. I think the players will be happy. Forget what Dave Cameron says after the game. It'll be the players that help regroup.
Yeah, there's enough veteran leadership on this team to take that role. But I think that, going forward as well, this is a big tournament for them now too. I think you should circle May 25th on your calendars as well, because that's when these two teams will play each other in the Memorial Cup. But I think that Dave Cameron has said all that he needs to say. It'll be interesting to see, if anything, what he says tonight after this game. An unfortunate break, but this series could have gone either way. Let's not get it wrong. They went up 2-0. I think overtime killed them. 3 games, 3 of the 4 losses in this series came in overtime, so they couldn't get it done when it really mattered the most in overtime. Unfortunately for them, they just came out on the loose end of the stick.
Fernando Sorrente has Cameron Brace downstairs.
Of the champion Owen Sound Attack. Cameron, what makes this title so special for you guys? It's the first time in team history that you guys have won the OHL championship.
Well, it's good. We're from a small town, and, we're making a lot of people proud right now. For me, I'm a young guy. There's a lot of young guys on this team, and it's really good to get this experience, and it's nothing better than winning it with the group of guys that we have right now.
Early in the series, you guys were down 2-0. You guys ended up coming back to win this series in 7. What makes this team so special, and the battle that you guys showed in the finals?
Well, we worked really hard. We had a lot of games that went to OT, but we worked hard as a unit, and we stuck to the system. We have to thank our coach. We had a great system, and we stuck to it, and we won some games.
Congratulations,
Thanks,
Cameron.
Thank
Good
you.
luck in the Memorial Cup final.
Thanks a lot.
That's Cameron Brace of the champion Owen Sound Attack. Back upstairs to you guys.
He's a beauty.
Thanks a lot, Cameron Brace, an excited guy, and all the Owen Sound Attack should be excited. An absolutely thrilling series, thrilling Game 7, overtime, and what a game-ending goal by Jared Maidens. Sort of slid past the goal line. Probably timed that shot with a calendar, but J.P. Anderson not able to slide post to post in time. And really, it's not like the Owen Sound Attack weren't the better team in this game. This was anybody's game, and the Owen Sound Attack just took the bull by the horns.
Well, you have to wonder, how much time are they really going to have to celebrate? They want to go back home, have a couple nights to relax in their own beds, but you know what? Everyone in that community of 22,000 is going to want to knock on their door, shake their hand. Maybe they're better off staying in Mississauga for 3 or 4 days. They got to be back here Wednesday anyways. But it'll be interesting to see how they get over that hump of saying, okay, we won it all, but we got to get back into this Memorial Cup thing everyone's been talking about.
It's going to be, I think it will be a tougher maybe adjustment for the Attack now for the majors, because there is no celebration now for the majors. They'll maybe probably take a day or at least 2 and come off and come back and practice, get right back at the rink and come back, and it's business as usual now going forward to this point. So it'll be interesting to see how both teams adjust in really their first games in the Memorial Cup. Again, it was exciting though to see how many fans are in this building. It makes it pretty excited for the Memorial Cup.
Absolutely great atmosphere here in Game 7. We'll have more post-game reaction coming up. We're going to take you all the way to the bottom of the hour. Owen Sound Attack, OHL champs. They beat the Mississauga St. Michael's Majors 3-2 in Game 7 overtime. More coming up.